Chapter 758. The netizens were having a great time watching the drama unfold. An heir against an illegitimate son. There's going to be a good show. Many netizens were not afraid of blowing things up, and even came up with ideas for the battle between the two. Hurry up, set a time, we'll livestream it. That's right, let's see who's the real plagiarist then. What's the point of arguing online like this? It's better to have an offline battle. No da fight lie dog head. Wuxia was full of confidence and felt that victory was within his grasp. Surendong, you've enjoyed enough applause and glory over the years. How can a shut-in be worthy of being the heir of the Su family? It's time to give it to me. Wuxia believed that since his mother could get the previous song, she would definitely be able to help him get the song this time too. Now he just had to wait for Su Shindong to set the time. Wuxia wasn't the only one who thought so. The viewers of the livestream also thought so. After all, composing was an artistic creation that required a process and couldn't be accomplished overnight. In the next second, Su Shindong, who had learned the ins and outs of the matter through Zhou Yan's phone, said in a low voice, "Let's begin then." Everyone was dumbfounded. Huh? Begin what? Xiangyi asked thoughtfully. Do you want to compose now? Su Shindong expressed assent and sat down in front of the piano. He turned to look at Xiangyi and said, "Miss Xiang, can I trouble you to set a theme for me? Just a word or two will do." Xiangyi thought for a while and said, "How about love?" Su Shindong's style in the past was lyrical, and the theme of love was very suitable for him. Okay. Su Shindong closed his eyes and began to compose. The viewers of the livestream were all confused. What? What's going on? Composing on the spot? How is that possible? Where does Su Shindong get his confidence from? How can he compose on a whim? I'm dying of laughter. I'm waiting for Su Shindong to fail. My melon seeds and chestnuts are ready. Most of the comments section was filled with ridicule. There were also some loyal fans of Su Shindong who were trying their best to defend him. Unfortunately, the results were minimal. However, when Su Randong opened his eyes and placed his fingers on the piano, the room suddenly fell into silence. Even the comments in the live broadcast room seemed to have been cleared. The soothing and melodious prelude started the melody of a love song. From the careful probing, to the passion when the love was strong, and then to the loneliness after the sad breakup. Whether it was the melody or the artistic conception, it was impeccable. After listening to a short section, Xiangyi was certain that the song was indeed composed by Su Shindong. He had long since formed a unique style. Others could only imitate his appearance but not his soul. The audience gradually came back to their senses. This song is kind of nice. Was it really Su Rendong's original work? He's too talented. I can't believe it. I actually cried when I heard it. Is there anyone who can fill in the words? If this song doesn't become popular, the heavens will not tolerate it. His slender fingers slid across the black and white keys, ending the song perfectly. Xiangyi and the others applauded. Zhou Yan clapped the most forcefully and his hands were almost red from clapping. Good, very good. Su Shindong, praise to you. Su Shindong is the eternal god. Su Shindong smiled shyly but his eyes were bright. Miss Xiang, it's time for the second question. Xiangyi was stunned. Huh. Chapter 759. Isn't it supposed to be a competition? Su Rendong asked in confusion. How are we going to determine the winner? Rock, paper, scissors, and the winner has to win 2 out of 3 games. Hearing this, Xiangyi burst into a gentle smile, and shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks. As for the second question, how about missing? Su Rendong agreed. Sure. Zhou Yan's eyes widened. Are you out of your mind? That song just now is enough to prove your ability. Why are you still? Shi Sui patted him on the shoulder and asked, do you trust him? Of course I do, he's Su Rendong. The young best actor smirked and said, then let's trust his choice and see what surprises he will bring us. This chicken soup for the soul was unexpectedly effective on Zhou Yan. He pursed his lips, and his tense body gradually relaxed. No one knew better than him how talented Su Rendong was. Yeah, I just have to trust him. How can the light of a firefly compete with the brilliance of the moon? Su Rendong was like a heartless composing machine. He repeatedly closed his eyes and composed the second song. Longing. With a high standard and a high degree of completion, he didn't need to modify his composition at all. He could go to the recording studio and record the demo himself. The audience in the live stream was dumbfounded. Su Sini, who received the news, was even more dumbfounded. Why is Su Rundong so unpredictable? Come on, this is composing. Do you think you're eating buns? Apart from being surprised, he was also flustered. If Su Rundong is composing on the spot, what should I do? In the past, his mother would arrange for a part-time worker to steal Su Rundong's manuscripts, and he would publish them directly or find someone to modify them slightly. However, this time he couldn't steal Su Rundong's manuscripts. What could he use to compete with Su Rundong? Boundless fear instantly drowned him. At the same time, Su Rundong took a short break and said, "The third question." Xiangyi pondered for a moment and said, "For the sake of fairness, why don't we change the topic?" Su Rundong seemed to be in a dilemma. Some of the audience noticed his expression and began to speculate. Is Xiangyi a fake? Is she cooperating with Su Rundong's performance? Could these questions have been set long ago? What's the difference between this and cheating on exams and taking notes? If that's the case, it's unfair to Su Sini. Isn't this clearly bullying? The son of a mistress is still so arrogant. I'm so angry. I'm sorry, Xiangyi said apologetically. I forgot that you don't want to interact with other people. Su Rundong shook his head. It doesn't matter. I can try harder. However, as someone with social phobia, other than Zhou Yan Shui and Xiangyi whom he was familiar with, he could not even look at the other staff members. Li Jianyu had a flash of inspiration. Why don't we draw the questions in the live stream? So that everyone won't say that you're cheating. Also, you can just use your phone to draw. You don't have to communicate with others. Su Rundong agreed. She had a better impression of the entire cast of Two Under One Roof. In the past, whenever he was forced to participate in activities, the staff would advise him, "Teacher Su, you have to pull yourself together and face everything. How can you have social anxiety? It's just that your ability to communicate with people has deteriorated after staying at home for too long. Can't you just talk to people more?" However, everyone in Two Under One Roof would think from his point of view. It was really heartwarming. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to draw, Su Rundong said softly. Chapter 760. It was rare for the live stream of Two Under One Roof to have an interactive function. Many people said that they hated Su Xuandong, but they couldn't help but click on the question. Su Xuandong's beautiful and fair fingertips tapped on the screen and the question was fixed on one sentence. Eating hot pot with friends at home in the winter. Sugar oranges are being roasted on the heater next to you. Ginger cola is boiling in the pot. Everyone was stunned. What? What kind of question is this? The previous two questions that Xiangyi came up with were more abstract and there was more room for free expression. However, this question was too specific. Instead, it made people scratch their heads. How do you express hot pot with music? How do you express roasted oranges with music? Not to mention ginger cola. You're making things difficult for me. Li Jinyu said shamelessly. Ha ha ha, this time doesn't count. Let's do it again. He couldn't say that to the guests for fear of being scolded. He didn't care. Let them scold him. He was thick-skinned anyway. Although Su Xuandong was an otaku, he wasn't completely ignorant of the ways of the world. Seeing that Li Jinyu was trying to help him out, he cast a grateful look at him and said, "It's okay, let's do this." Huh. Before Li Jinyu could react, Su Xuandong's fingers had already slowly plucked a chord on the piano keys. He closed his eyes and began to play blindly. It wasn't difficult to play blindly, but it was much more difficult to compose a tune while playing blindly. The viewers in the live stream who knew music were instantly shocked. He's too good. I'm so angry that I want to kick my brother who's been learning the piano for 2 years. To be honest, Su Xuandong's basic skills are really impressive. His fingering, strength, and emotions are all textbook examples. Oh my God, can this question be expressed this way? I don't know how to describe it, but I just feel that this song is so heartwarming. The music flowed like clouds and flowing water. Languages had national boundaries, but to a certain extent, music was universal to humans. Everyone enjoyed the song as if they were intoxicated. Unconsciously, they closed their eyes like Su Rundong. Xiangyi leaned on Shui's shoulder and whispered, I really want to play this song in winter. Definitely. Shui hugged her. Zhou Yan, who was next to him, suddenly felt that he was like a light bulb. He cleared his throat and leaned his body to the right out of habit. He listened carefully to Su Rundong's song. He was still as powerful as ever. That night, the live stream of Two Under One Roof went viral again. Well-known composer Su Rundong composed 16 songs on the spot. Their styles included lyrical, pop, hot-blooded, fairy tale, folk, rock, sci-fi. Every song could be said to be the sound of nature. Every song was enough to be passed down as a classic. Countless people had witnessed his creative talent. Countless people gasped in admiration at his amazing talent. I'm kneeling to the big boss Orzi. Improvisation on the spot. This is a level I won't be able to reach even if I study for another 10 years. Wow, every song sounds so good. I think it's enough to release an album. Zhou Yan's singing will definitely be very suitable. Su Rundong stood up with the help of the piano, but his body swayed because he was too tired. Hey. Zhou Yan hurriedly supported him. Thinking of Su Rundong's misophobia, he pursed his lips and was about to let go when he felt a small force tugging at his sleeve. Su Rundong looked at him and said innocently, My legs are weak. Shui sensed something and glanced sideways, only to see that Xiangyi's eyes were glowing, as if she had knocked on something. Chapter 761. He coughed softly. The girl immediately came back to her senses and patted her little face, returning to her usual calm and composed self. Little did she know that the fleeting moment had already been captured and recorded by the audience. Sister E is kowtowing to others while I'm kowtowing to Sister E. We're both kowtowing scholars. E is so cute. I want to F*CK her. Aren't Su Rundong and Zhou Yan at odds? Why do the two of them look so compatible? Zhou Yan's heartbeat sped up and his ears inevitably began to heat up. After Su Rundong steadied himself, he said fiercely, What are you showing off for? Why did you compose so many songs in one go? Aren't you afraid of overworking yourself? I think 996 is a blessing for you. It's the speed of a turtle. Su Rundong retracted his hand and resisted the urge to wipe it with a disinfectant wipe. Overcoming his body's instincts was not an easy task. That alone was enough to make Su Rundong's face turn pale. Hey, are you okay? Zhou Yan asked with a frown. I'm fine. Su Rundong looked at the camera and subconsciously tried to avoid it. After taking a few deep breaths, he calmed down and said, I'm fine, Su Xen. Xen what? Xiangyi reminded. Su Sini. Su Rundong first thanked her softly before continuing. Didn't you say you were going to accept the challenge? You may begin then. Wow, is this a declaration of war? It turns out that otakus have a temper too. The audience in the live stream got excited and began to pay attention to the other party, however. After waiting for a long time, Su Sini did not respond. What? Why is Su Sini pretending to be dead? Su Sini, don't be a coward. You're already done. Could it be that he's guilty? Su Sini is the one who's acting like a thief. On the other hand, Su Sini was so anxious that he was pacing back and forth. What should I do? What should I do? As soon as his phone rang, Su Sini immediately picked it up. Mom, have you thought of a countermeasure? Drag it out if you can. Even if you can't. At the very least, you can't lose to him when the attention is at its peak. Mom, that otaku Su Sini is just trying to ruin me. He even pretended not to know me. Does he even put me in his eyes? His mother was silent for more than 10 seconds before she gritted her teeth and said, Your IQ is really hopeless. Su Sini was not convinced. It's obviously Su Shindong who is scheming. Alright, do as I say. I'll think of a way to get a few songs for you. When the time comes, you can memorize the score and open a live broadcast. Those idiots on the internet will definitely believe it. After exhorting him for a while, the call ended. Su Sini didn't notice that his phone was recording calls. He wrote a procrastination Weibo post. After looking at it, he felt that it would only be embarrassing if he posted it. Who knows how the netizens will laugh at him? It would be better to play the blame game and turn black and white upside down. Su Sini's eyes lit up. He deleted the previous text and began his Lotus Words and Lotus Words composition. Just as the netizens were about to disperse, Susini finally posted another post. Susini v. What's yours will always be yours. What's not yours will never be yours. No matter how much they slander me, I'm still me. My father is still my father. The song is still my song. Brother, when will you understand this truth? Will that day come? Or maybe it will never come. He opened the audio file and wanted to add a so-called original song, but he accidentally selected the call record with his mother. Chapter 762. The Weibo post was posted just like that. Susini didn't realize that something was wrong. He threw away his phone and hummed a song before opening a bottle of red wine. He poured the wine into the decanter, feeling good and elegant. Well, let's see what the netizens have commented. Susini took out his phone, only to find that there were dozens of missed calls. His mother had called him the most, as well as a few close friends. Even his father, who he rarely contacted, had called him twice. Susini's eyebrows twitched violently as he instantly panicked. His mother's call popped up on the screen again. Susini's hand trembled as he pressed the answer button. Delete your Weibo post. Hurry up and delete your Weibo post. The woman on the other end of the phone was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She had worked hard to compete with number 4 and number 5 for so many years and finally won the championship. In the end, her years of hard work were ruined by her son. Susini logged onto Weibo, only to find that he had mistakenly selected the wrong audio file. The song that he was going to post was instead a call record with his mother. I'll help you think of a way to get a few songs. When the time comes, you can memorize the score and post it on the live stream. Those idiots on the internet will definitely believe it. Su Xindong's vision turned black as he knocked over the decanter, causing the fine red wine to splash onto the carpet, creating a mess. He trembled as he clicked on the delete option, but it was too late. In the living room, Surfer Zhou Yan not only saw Susini's Weibo post, but he also quickly downloaded the audio file. He played the audio file in front of everyone in the live stream. Tens of millions of viewers in the live stream of Two Under One Roof all heard the conversation between Susini and his mother. Is this the legendary I beat myself? Honestly, Su Xindong's mother's IQ is high, but Su Xindong's brain is not good enough. He's dragging her down. Think of a way to get a few songs? Judging from his proficient tone, it's probably not the first time he's done this. So, Su Xindong's so-called original work was probably fake. Su Xindong's 16 songs in a row was a true slap in the face, followed by Susini's self-destruction on the spot. The netizens wondered what kind of behavior was this? It was obviously the gift was light but the thought was heavy. As a result, Su Rendong was innocent. It was obvious at a glance who was the son of the mistress. Pfft. Ha ha ha. This little brother of yours only cares about the White Lotus attribute. You don't even know how to add some points to your intelligence. You need to add some points to balance it out. Zhou Yan laughed until his stomach hurt. Su Rendong was still at a loss. He rarely contacted Papa Su, and had no idea that he had a younger brother. To him, Susini was nothing more than a stranger that had appeared today. However, when he saw Zhou Yan smiling so happily, he pursed his thin lips and the curve of his smile rose. Thus Shi Sui found that her little rabbit had started to knock again. The little girl looked calm on the surface, but she excitedly fluttered a few times and whispered in his ear. So this is what it feels like to be a couple. It's so happy. Shi Sui nodded. Yes. Xiangyi smiled. Are you going to kiss them too? I'll knock myself. Shi Sui calmly took out his cell phone and showed Xiangyi his level in the #untimely #CP chat. It was actually max level. Xiangyi was speechless. She had lost. Chapter 763. Xiangyi took out her Weibo account and looked at it, only to see that it was a pitiful level 2. Her manager, Anan, often sent her something that she liked. When she saw it, she clicked on it and signed in. The girl's fighting spirit was inexplicably ignited. Her milky white face tensed up, as if they were two prodigies competing with each other in their school days. I'll level up now. The little girl was as fierce as a tiger, but she was confused when she saw the mission. It's too difficult, too difficult. The scholars are working too hard every day. She felt that these missions were more difficult than transmigrating. Shui naturally put her arm around her shoulders and touched the screen with her slender fingers, as she began to teach her little bunny how to operate the system. Liking, reposting, and commenting is a must every day. It's also very important to counter haters. When you post on Weibo, it's best if the content is original. That way, the weight will be higher. Xiangyi was thirsty for knowledge and nodded repeatedly, wishing she could take notes on the spot with a sticky note software. The viewers in the live stream were confused. Is Shuringdi teaching Sister E how to surf the rankings? Shocking. I'm rooting for the CP, but they're rooting for themselves too. Shuringdi and Sister E are already working so hard. As fans of the untimely couple, what right do we have to not work hard? Sisters, if you don't vote, I won't vote. When will Shuri succeed? If you don't do it, Shuri will be beaten down. Under Shui's guidance, Xiangyi finally completed the mission. She went through the process in her mind and said seriously, "Okay, I got it. We'll continue tomorrow." Shui responded and skillfully switched to his alternate account to begin the second round. A series of posts on the leaderboard. Xiangyi? The little girl was shocked and her doe eyes widened. One account isn't enough? The sister fans and mommy fans in the live stream were overwhelmed by her cuteness. Our Tutu is the cutest, she won't accept any rebuttals. Xiangyi is so cute. Hurry up and accept the endorsement deal. Hurry up and release the product. Mommy is going to spend money on you. Haha, Sistery obviously hasn't chased celebrities before. How can one account be enough? But what's wrong with Best Actor Sure? He's a little too skilled. Xiangyi had no idea that her actions had caused such a huge reaction. The fans of the untimely couple seemed to have been injected with adrenaline, as they crazily rushed up the rankings. Due to the fact that the fans of the two were more relaxed, they were usually in the top 5. But today, everyone was serious and rushed up to the third place in minutes. Zhou Yin joined in the fun and used his main account to help the two of them hit the leaderboard. For a moment, his fans did not care about their own superfans and came over to help. In addition, there were also many insiders who personally went down to help the two of them rank. For example, Yen Nai and director Yen, the brothers from C7, the model couple Mama In, and Papa Sheng in the circle, the idiotic Fujian in the emoji world, and so on. Xiangyi and Shui's connections in the circle were obvious. Not only were the netizens enthusiastic, but even the staff of Two Under One Roof joined in. At first, everyone had been sneaking around in fear of being scolded by Li Jianyu. Who would have thought? The one at the top was him. Brothers and sisters, let's charge together. Everyone. The director took the lead to slack off. When the person in charge of Weibo saw the daily active traffic today, he couldn't stop smiling. The two of them were already in the S-list when they were alone, but together they were super. No one could stop them. In just half an hour, the untimely couple successfully reached the top of the list. It was terrifying. Chapter 764. Originally, the first place on the Weibo list was a very popular couple. #MorningstarFall hashtag. Han Chun and Luo Churn had worked together on a romance drama, Sweet Biscuit, which had a wonderful plot and a sweet interaction. Recently, they had also participated in a variety show together. Hence, the couple's fans were at their wits' end. Seeing that their number 1 spot on the Weibo list had been snatched away, Morningstarfall's fans were indignant and began to call for a fight. However, the number of fans of the two was completely incomparable to that of Shui and Xiangyi. Usually, the untimely couple's fans wouldn't fight for it, but today, they were on a completely different level. Han Chen's and Luo Churn's management companies had communicated with each other and felt that it was a good time to expose themselves. Whether the two could make it out of the entertainment circle depended on this move. The two companies secretly hired fake reviewers and even paid some protection fees to the public relations department of Weibo. Not long after, #MorningstarFall hashtag surpassed #untimely couple in the Weibo rankings. Morningstarfall's fans who didn't know the truth thought that it was real data. They immediately felt elated and ran to #untimely couple to show off. Oh, there's nothing we can do about it. Morningstarfall is really popular. My throat is so dry that it's about to smoke. When I saw the untimely couple, I was no longer thirsty because it's so hot, ha ha ha. Celebrity stats are so fake these days. Shui and Xiangyi's stats must be fake too. I now feel that the number of online viewers of two under one roof might be exaggerated too. After all, the boss of Xingchen Live is Xiangyi's uncle. They're family after all. Can't they take care of each other more? In the living room, Zhou Yin was confused. Are these two very popular? Why did their stats go up all of a sudden? Xiangyi and Shui didn't have much of a reaction to the rankings. Shui said, "Let nature take its course. It's good enough to be in the top 3. Xiangyi put away her phone and asked, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" Zhou Yin said, "No. Shui's sister E must be number 1. Su Rendong adjusted his glasses. He was introverted and not good with words, but at this moment, he also clenched his fists, indicating that he supported Zhou Yan. As for Li Jianyu and the others, he had already gone crazy. Sister E, I can't give up so easily. He had to continue fighting. Heads can be chopped off, blood can flow, but we can't lose in the rankings. Photographer Old Zhang. Yes, we must win. Old Lu, the lighting engineer, said, I'm going to make this list today. Even Jesus can't stop me. The others were also shouting slogans such as, victory, and fight. They were full of fighting spirit. It was like a scene from a hot-blooded movie. Xiangyi. There's no need for that. The young girl cast a pleading look at Ruan Qing, hoping that she could persuade Li Jianyu. Who would have thought that this bright and successful career woman would also be unable to escape the true fragrance law at this time? Her phone, tablet, and laptop were all used together, all for the sake of ranking. Sister E, don't worry. Today I will definitely get first place for you. Xiangyi. In the live broadcast room, the comments were unusually harmonious. The audience was united against a common enemy. No matter how much they argued, the couple that I'm rooting for must be number 1. I'm rushing. I've already started on the 4th task. Ha ha ha, my mom and aunt asked me in the family group chat what the top topic is. They want to support sister. I'm willing to not drink milk tea, eat fried chicken, or order takeout for a month. I just want our #untimely hashtag to be number 1. This scene was still playing out in many other places. The rankings of #untimely hashtag and #morningstar setting hashtag fluctuated up and down. Chapter 765. More and more people from all ages were participating in the leaderboard challenge. In a certain office building in the CBD, Jane graduated from a prestigious school and had a decent job. She had always been considered someone else's child. After dealing with today's work, she took some time out of her busy schedule to go to the pantry. She was just about to check if there were any popular food stores nearby, so that she could have dinner with her best friend. Her cell phone rang. Jane picked it up and asked in a slightly surprised tone, Mom, why are you calling me? Did something happen at home? An embarrassed and coy voice came from the other end of the line. Daughter, are you busy at the moment? Mom, if you have something to say, just say it. Is Dad's old habit acting up again? No, I just wanted to ask you, do you know what a competition is? Jane was speechless. By the time she hung up, Jane's mouth was already dry. She gulped down half a glass of water, completely lacking the image of a city beauty. She then picked up her cell phone and started complaining on the Melon forum. Help! My mom is even more obsessed with idols than I am. What should I do? I'm waiting online, it's quite urgent. At a certain farmer's market. Today, I'm going to do a live stream of the vegetable market for everyone. As we all know, the southern market is very famous for its services. For example, when you buy chicken feet, you can cut your nails, and when you buy meat, you can buy a potato and you can even peel it. A small-time streamer held a stand in his hand and interacted with his fans as he walked. He took everyone on a grocery shopping experience. The down-to-earth live stream made the audience feel refreshed, and the interactive data was also better than usual. Bananas can be bought piece by piece. Watermelons can be bought piece by piece. Grapefruit can be peeled into pieces. This is my first year working in the north as a southerner. This is the first time I've seen cabbage being carried in a sack. I'm so shocked. The coordinates are north. Last time I asked if I could buy a head of garlic, the boss waved his hand and told me to take it away. He said that he didn't want me to interfere with his business. Hey, why are there so many people surrounding that stall? Streamer, please go over and watch the fun. When the small-time streamer saw this comment, he smiled and said, for a streamer like me who dotes on her fans, of course I'll satisfy all your conditions. He looked over, feeling a little puzzled for a moment. That stall was not eye-catching, but it was crowded with people at the moment. When he got closer to take a look, he heard the auntie selling vegetables yell at the top of her voice. Now follow me and sign in at the top right corner. Little streamer? Could this be some kind of illegal activity? For example, illegal fundraising? He was ready to call the police, but when he turned his head, he saw that the uncles and aunties interface was showing #untimely #super topic. Nanny, so they were trying to make a list? The streamer and his fans accepted this reality in a daze. Schools, shopping malls, parks, Weibo, WeChat, forums, China, overseas, the leaderboard event was in full swing. It was as if everyone was participating in the leaderboard event. Meanwhile, Han Chan and Luo Churen's management company were on the verge of tears. Who could tell them why the data was immediately squeezed out after they bought it? They had already raised the price many times. Seeing that they were overtaken once again, the higher-ups of both sides were dumbfounded. There was nothing left, not even a single cent left. Once they stopped buying ghostwriters, the gap between #untimely and #Morningstar instantly widened. Morningstar's fans, who were still arrogant just a moment ago, were all dumbfounded after seeing the data. Are we so lousy? Chapter 766. No, that's impossible. Morningstar Early Falls fans couldn't accept this huge difference. Some of the more extreme ones directly ran to #untimely #supertalk to make a scene. Don't you guys feel embarrassed when you're using data? Hee, it's really different when you have capital backing you. Is untimely entertainment very popular? Sorry, I've never heard of it. Smile, our Morningstar Rising is the hottest. If it were any other fan club, they would have already started scolding each other. Who knew what kind of bloody storm it would have turned into? However, most of the fans of the untimely couple overlapped with Spicy Tutu and Shui Sister, so thus the style became like this. Yes, everything you say is right. Our data is fake. Oh, I'm sorry, but our sister E is rich and beautiful. Shui doesn't have much money either. One endorsement is only worth tens of millions. Yep, we're untimely couple from the Arctic Circle. Have some confidence, Morningstar Rising is not only the most popular in the entertainment industry, but also the most popular in the entire universe. Morningstar Early Falls fans. How should he put it? The other party clearly didn't scold him back, but how infuriating. This kind of perfunctory attitude showed that he didn't treat them as opponents at all. Instead, he coaxed her like she was a primary school student. Morningstar Chu Luo's fans flew into a rage out of humiliation. They all tagged the person in charge of Weibo, denouncing the injustice and demanding an explanation. Otherwise, they would uninstall Weibo. Usually, the person in charge of the government didn't show up much. Today, he was probably enjoying the show, so he asked the technical staff to check it out. In the end, the investigation failed. It's one thing for your Morningstar to be mixed with a little water in the data, but you guys must have mixed with the 4 oceans. To a certain extent, the officials had tacitly agreed to buy fake reviewers. However, there had to be a limit to everything. Otherwise, going too far would be as bad as not going far enough. The internet water army that Han Chan and Luo Churen had hired had seriously affected the user ecology, which was extremely unfavorable for the development of Weibo. The higher-ups held a meeting and decided to make an example out of him. Therefore, not long after, Weibo's official account made a statement. Weibo Technical Department v. After various inquiries, we have found that there are a large number of zombie fans and water army fans in the super topic #Morningstar Falls hashtag. In order to prevent such incidents from happening again, access to #Morningstar Falls hashtag will be suspended for 3 days. We welcome the masses of netizens to supervise our work. If there are similar phenomena, you can directly at us. There were also a few pictures that the technical staff had checked in the background. The wavy lines and column graphs above all directly showed the true data of #Morningstar setting hashtag. Not to mention competing with #untimely hashtag. They couldn't even enter the top 10. Once the evidence was out, no matter how much Morningstar Early Falls fans shouted, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it. It was useless. On this day, countless netizens witnessed his untimely popularity. The national couple lived up to their name. No one could shake his position as the #1 superstar. Few first place. Li Jianyu slumped on the couch. He was as tired as a salted fish. Ruan Qing, who was beside him, flexed her wrists a few times with a smile in her eyes. The others also had gratified looks on their faces. It was as if their own children had been admitted to a prestigious university. Pride. Zhou Yan was so excited that he pulled Su Rendong to give him a high five. Su Rendong resisted the physical discomfort and raised his fair hand. Yeah, give me 5. As his movements were too violent, a small silver object fell out of his left ear and landed right in front of Xiangyi. Chapter 767. Xiangyi immediately blocked the camera, picked it up with her hand, and returned it to Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's expression was a little helpless as he frantically put the item into his pocket. The camera didn't capture it very clearly, but the sharp-eyed audience saw it. Some of them even took screenshots and zoomed in to study it. Hey, this seems to be a hearing aid. Aren't hearing aids for old people? Zhou Yan is so young, does he really need one? It's hard to say. I heard that many singers have hearing impairments. Could Zhou Yan be the same? If he has a hearing problem, it will also affect his singing. There were many different opinions and no conclusion had been reached. Su Rendong also saw it and his expression became solemn. He frowned and stared at Zhou Yan. What is that? Zhou Yan didn't answer and simply stared at his lips in a daze, subconsciously trying to read his lips. Answer me. Su Rendong, who had always been gentle, unexpectedly lost his temper at this moment. Xiangyi spoke up at the right time. I'm going to cook some dumplings. Do you guys want to go back to your room and get some rest? She was giving the two of them a way out. However, Zhou Yan and Su Rendong didn't move. The atmosphere was so oppressive that it was almost suffocating. After more than 10 seconds, Zhou Yan said in a muffled voice, "What does it have to do with you? Haven't we broken up a long time ago?" Su Rendong's hands, which were hanging by the side of his pants, subconsciously clenched into fists. Your affairs are very important to me. Zhou Yan mocked coldly. Doesn't your conscience hurt when you say that? Su Rendong's Adam's apple bobbed, and his eyelashes drooped as he trembled slightly. I'm sorry. The conversation between the two of them really made one's imagination run wild. Xiangyi and Shi Sui looked at each other. One of them had knocked. The other knew that she had knocked. The gossipy souls of the audience were instantly ignited. What kind of rotten melon is that? I'm sick of it. Love melons are the best. This conversation between the two of them is not a relationship between ex-boyfriends. I'm going to eat *T live. Oh my god. This little prank is a trending topic. Every guest that comes has such a story. Zhou Yan and Su Rendong fell into a stalemate. In order to ease the tension, Shi Sui cleared her throat and asked, Do you want dumplings with soup or without soup? Su Rendong regained his senses and looked at Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's expression was a little blank. He had one hand in his pocket and seemed to be hesitating. Su Rendong's thin lips pursed into a straight line. He reached out his hand and slowly stretched it out. Even though his fingertips were trembling uncontrollably, he still did not back down. The distance between them was getting closer and closer. Swish! There was the sound of fingers rubbing against cloth. Zhou Yan felt that his arm was gently pulled and swayed, as if she was acting coquettishly, but also as if she was pleading. Can I have a look? He had touched him. This realization spread in Zhou Yan's heart. Instinctively, he relaxed his body. Su Rendong seized the opportunity and pulled his arm out. In the man's palm was a small and exquisite hearing aid. At first glance it looked like an earring. Su Rendong only felt that his throat was extremely dry. He fumbled around and helped Zhou Yan put it on. Can you hear my voice now? Zhou Yan looked away and said proudly, You don't think I'm dirty now? Never. Those two words made the countless audience members in front of the screen scream. Xiangyi decisively covered her mouth and buried her head in Shi Sui's arms. The little bunny threw herself into his arms and a certain best actor had no choice but to do so. He kissed the little girl on the forehead. On Wan's words, Oh, there's an exam tomorrow morning. I'm going to do a last-minute prayer. There's still 2 hours to go. Are there any cuties taking the exam? I wish you all the best in the exam. If you really don't know how to answer, then choose C. I'm talking nonsense. Good night. Chapter 768. The dumplings are ready. The kitchen was steaming hot. Xiangyi opened the door, poked her head out, and shouted. Behind her stood Shui, who was holding a plate. The two of them were wearing the same apron, and under the warm lighting in the kitchen, they looked warm and beautiful. Ever since Zhou Yan and Su Rundong decided to have a good talk, the two of them tacitly went to the kitchen to give the two of them some space. Li Jinyu originally wanted to pause the filming of the two of them, but Zhou Yan signaled that it was fine. He then used the live stream of Two Under One Roof to explain his condition to his fans. Because I've been in a high decibel environment for a long time, my left ear has developed a hearing impairment, and my right ear has also deteriorated to a certain extent. However, I will actively cooperate with the doctor's treatment and recover as soon as possible. Even though he could barely hear with one ear, it didn't seem to affect Zhou Yan's mood at all. Hearing Xiangyi's voice, he grinned brightly. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore, I'm going to eat some dumplings. In the live stream, Zhou Yan's fans were already in tears, but when they heard this, they burst into laughter. God, please be nicer to our Yan Bao. Oh my God. Nothing can stop you, huh? Ha 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 ha. Yan Bao, eat 2 more bowls of rice for me. Let's eat our share too. Su Rundong listened in silence the entire time. After the dumplings were served, he silently mixed a vinegar and chili oil dipping sauce for Zhou Yan. This small detail was caught by the crowd, and they went into another round of. Zhou Yan couldn't stop after eating one as he exclaimed how fragrant it was. Compared to him, Su Rundong was much more reserved. However, from another perspective, he was a clean freak, yet he could still endure the psychological discomfort and eat Xiangyi's food. What kind of spirit is that? The netizens were craving for it, and tears flowed from the corners of their mouths. Li Jinyu suggested. Why don't we do a lucky draw? After all, the live stream would end in 2 weeks, so it was reasonable to give some benefits to the audience. Sure, but what should we draw? Xiangyi asked. Li Jinyu was also in a dilemma. Ruan Qing, who was beside him, smiled and said, Why don't we listen to everyone's thoughts? This suggestion made the live stream room went wild. Sister Ruan is so good, it's so nice. Does an unlucky person have a chance to enter Europe? Wishing for a piece of firewood chopped by Sameogu. I want a little apron made by Hades. Haha, I've long had my eyes on Dr. Xiang's pots of succulents. Is a pillow that Big Brother has leaned on okay? Sob 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 ball ball. Ahem, I'm different from you guys. I've taken a fancy to Feng Fengzi's bumper car. There were all sorts of wishes in the comments section, but the thing that was mentioned the most was without a doubt. Sistery cooked. Shui brought a tablet over and read the comments with Xiangyi. Xiangyi was a little surprised. There are so many comments. It almost blocked the entire screen. Shui smiled. Our sister E is very popular. Zhou Yan and Su Rundong, who were at the side, were speechless. For some reason, they felt that the two of them were the real kings of public display of affection. Using the terminology of Xuanhua novels, a dozong was extremely terrifying. If it's for food, it probably won't work if it's too far away. Xiangyi's words disappointed everyone, but in the next second she said, It should work if it's in Nancheng. Chapter 769. In an instant, the audience in Nancheng felt as if they were on a roller coaster as they went from the lowest point to the highest point. I'm from Nancheng, please pick me. Is it too late to move to Nancheng now? I'm really getting carried away. I'm actually searching for housing prices in Nancheng. Smile. Nancheng has always been criticized on the internet. I used to feel quite inferior, but it's different today. I feel like I can hold my head high proud. Li Jinyu and the others studied it for a moment before opening the lucky draw system. The final prize was very rich. In addition to small aprons, hair rings, and pillows, there were also various local specialties from Little Rabbit Farm, as well as chili seeds, super potato seeds, and so on. Let's draw the dumplings first. They won't taste good when they get cold. Xiangyi took out a few thermos containers and Shui packed them up, filling each container with dumplings with different fillings. The audience in Nancheng rubbed their palms and stared at the screen. When the wheel of the lucky draw appeared, a pair of hands appeared in front of countless screens. Click, click, click. Hit, hit, hit. The results were soon out. Congratulations to the 5 lucky audience members: Famous, Winter Wintersweet, Freshwater, Matcha Star Frappuccino, and Shooting a Heartbeat Signal to the Universe, for winning Sister Yi's dumplings. We'll arrange for someone to deliver them right away. They'll be delivered in an hour to 2 hours. The staff put the thermos containers back into the incubator and drove off with the side dishes that Xiangyi had prepared for everyone. The audience members who had won the lottery were overjoyed. Damn! I won! I won! I'm crying tears of joy. I didn't expect to win such a big prize in my lifetime. Reporting. Fatty Happy Water has been prepared and Sister Yi's beauty has been edited. I'm going to open the door and eat it later. I'm going to make the neighbor who always orders fried chicken and barbecue die. Those who didn't win the lottery were rolling around in the comments section. The scene was very hilarious. There were even some people who said ruthlessly, "Trash. I'm not going to watch it anymore." However, in the following lucky draw segment, another large group of people won the lottery. Coincidentally, the audience member who had said those ruthless words just now actually won 10 packets of hot pot base. Therefore, the audience member immediately changed his tune. Sister E is a very nice person, and her little tricks are also very exciting. She has enriched my mental life and brought me and my family great joy. Everyone, please join me as we continue to support the first live variety show in the country. Everyone? Where did you learn this face-changing technique? The audience member's face wasn't red and he wasn't out of breath. What made him change his mind? There was no other reason other than the fact that Xiangyi had given him too much base for the hot pot. In the end, Zhou Yan and Su Nendong also came and added gifts such as albums and Walkman. Tonight's lucky draw was a huge success. About an hour later, the first viewer who received Xiangyi's dumplings posted his feedback on Weibo. Matcha Xingbinglu. Wow, I'm saying wow. Sister Yi's dumplings are so delicious. When it was delivered, it was still hot. When he bit into it, the gravy splashed out. The combination of shiitake mushrooms, almond mushrooms, and abalone mushrooms created a fresh and fragrant taste. The shrimp dumplings were even better. There was a big shrimp inside each dumpling, mixed with minced meat. It was so delicious that he wanted to bite his tongue off. In the past, when I watched live broadcasts, I would think that the guests were acting, but today I found out that Sister E is the god of cookery. Fairy girl. In response, the netizens' reactions were surprisingly synchronized. Ha! I don't believe you unless you let me try it. Chapter 770. Several lucky audience members received the dumplings one after another, and 4 of them shared their joy on social media. Only one person was special. He put the dumplings up on a certain second-hand platform and set the price at 500 yuan. The netizens were in disbelief at first. No way, right? Can this be sold? It turned out that it really could be sold. Not only that, but the lucky audience member also did something else. He set up an auction mode. In less than half an hour, hundreds of people had already participated in the auction. The price also soared from the initial 500 yuan to more than 10,000 yuan. The intention of a lucky draw became a means to profit. Many netizens complained that the price of the dumplings was sky high. Everyone thought that the price would be the highest, but when they refreshed the page, the auction price actually rose to 100,000 yuan. What kind of rich and foolish tycoon is this? The audience member who had won the prize obviously didn't expect that a set of dumplings could be sold at such a high price. He didn't care who the tycoon was and quickly completed the transaction. Money would only be safe when it was in the bag. The sky-high price of the dumplings caused a chain reaction. A few audience members were tempted and began to resell the gift online before they received it from Xiangyi. There were also many people who offered to buy it, but the price was far inferior to the dumplings. The audience members muttered to themselves, "The game consoles and bumper cars are clearly worth much more than the dumplings, but why can't they sell for as high a price as the dumplings? Could it be that Xiangyi's food really has some special charm?" In the living room of the manor, after eating and drinking to his heart's content, Su Rundong took the initiative to clean the house. He had to admit that his professional ability and strictness in cleaning were enough to beat all the housekeeping companies in the market. The audience watched with relish, and many people with obsessive-compulsive disorder expressed great satisfaction. Zhou Yan and Xiangyi began to play checkers. Within 5 minutes, he had already retracted his moves several times. It doesn't count, it doesn't count. Let's start again. I didn't see it clearly just now. Please, Brother E, give me another chance. If it was someone else, they would probably get angry, but Xiangyi was very calm. She patiently played with him. Shui was reading a book at the side. From time to time, she would feed Xiangyi water and give her a piece of fruit. The little girl's cheeks were always puffed up like a cute little hamster. After cleaning up, Su Rendong picked the cleanest chair and sat down. However, it was a little far from Zhou Yan. He coughed, as if he felt that the chair was uncomfortable, so he moved a little. Just like that, he slowly approached someone. While Zhou Yan was regretting his move, Su Rendong pointed out a position for him. Play here. Zhou Yan did as he was told. Sure enough, he came back from the jaws of death. Awesome, brother. Zhou Yan grinned and raised his chin at Xiangyi. Brother E, it's not too late to beg for mercy. Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. Do you think I don't have outside help? At most, you'll ask Shuringdi for help. Xiangyi smiled and turned on the multi-person video chat in her family. One handsome face after another appeared on the screen. Sister, you're here. Tutu, I'm here. Little Tutu, call me brother and I'll let you win 10 consecutive games. Soon even Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang joined in. Little bunny, don't be afraid. Grandpa will win it back for you. Zhou Yan was speechless. He suddenly felt weak, helpless, and pitiful. He shivered. Chapter 771. This scene, which had a sense of variety, had undoubtedly become a classic scene in the history of Little Break. The netizens laughed out loud. Yen Bao, it's time for you to feel Sister Yi's true strength. Zhou Yan, I just found a substitute player. Brother E, you're cheating. Sister E, you're going overboard. Others are using money to cheat, but you're cheating. Xiang family member, kind eyes, let me see who's bullying our little bunny. With the super strong support group, Xiangyi easily won 2 rounds against Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's expression was as if he had nothing to live for throughout the entire process. Not intending to continue winning, Xiangyi slowly got up and said, Go ahead and play with Su Rendong. I'm going to video call my family. Although the Xiang family members didn't see each other often, they kept in close contact with each other. Even if they couldn't eat together, the whole family would video call each other at least once a week. Today happened to be the day that the Xiang family had agreed to video call, and Zhou Yan was considered to have hit the nail on the head. Xiangyi went to the floor-to-ceiling window, nestled on the couch, and talked to her family softly. In fact, there was nothing grand about it, and most of them were just trivial family matters. However, the audience felt the intimate connection between Xiang Yi and her family. It turns out that kinship has to be managed too. As many people watched, their giggles turned into contemplation. After everyone talked about the recent situation, Xiang Yin coughed and said, The work in the West Continent has been completed. Now that the country is prosperous and the people are safe, I can go back with peace of mind. He changed the topic and sighed. I don't know if anyone will welcome an old man like me back. Xiang Feng, who was playing a game with Shiryu, said, Father, I'll be the first to welcome you back. Xiang Yin rolled his eyes and said, I didn't ask you. Xiang Feng said, Okay. Shiryu, who was beside him, said in a muffled voice, Grandpa, I want to go home. I miss Sister Xiangyi. According to seniority, he should be addressing Xiangyi as aunt, but Shiryu couldn't change it. Let's play for a while more. Children should have a happy childhood. Shiryu pouted. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I don't want to play anymore. Grandpa Xiangfeng had been playing with him all day. Even if you want to walk a dog, you shouldn't walk it like this. Moreover, he was the one who wanted to play. Why did he have to use him as an excuse? Xiangfeng covered his mouth and said coldly, No, you want to play. At the same time, he instructed his assistant, Go and buy this gaming center. What kind of broken claw machine is this? You can't even catch a single doll after trying for so long. The assistant replied expressionlessly, Yes, Mr. Xiang. How could he be so calm? Was it because he had received professional education? Was it because he had many years of experience as a special assistant? No, it's just a habit. The video in the group was still going on. Xiangyi said softly, Grandpa, I'll wait for you to come back. The young lady's words coaxed the old man, making him feel very comfortable and happy. The silent and cold Sanction put down the file in his hand and said faintly, "Little Rabbit's birthday is coming soon." All of a sudden, the family members were discussing how to celebrate Xiangyi's birthday. Xiangyi raised her hand weakly. "There's still a week left." "Okay." Sanction nodded proudly. A week is indeed a little short. Xiangyi was speechless. Is Xiang Feng's concept of time a little different from mine? Chapter 772. Tutu, don't worry, your brothers will take care of these matters. Xiang Li's voice was gentle as he lowered his head and wrote on the memo with a pen. I'll cancel all the research projects and academic conferences for the next half a month. Xiangyi. Second brother, you don't have to. You really don't have to. That's right, that's right. 1 week is too short, we don't even have enough time to set up the venue. Xiangqi complained. Xiangyi. Third brother, are you planning to build a new building? Since Xiangyi is so popular, it seems we'll have to prepare an invitation. I hope she can spend her birthday with her blessings. Xiangyu sighed. Xiangyi. Fourth brother, are you guys still planning a banquet? Xiang Feng, however, looked confused. Didn't we already prepare for it long ago? We were just waiting to give little Xiangyi a surprise. All of a sudden, several sharp gazes seemed to be directed at him through the screen. Xiangyi. Okay, so it's just my brothers playing me. Can't there be some trust between siblings? Xiangyi turned on the loudspeaker while the mainstream was broadcasting Shui and Su Rundong playing chess. She couldn't hear it very clearly, but the audience in the other stream could. Ha ha ha, look, there's an honest person here. No one will refute me if I say that Xiang Feng has the lowest IQ in the Xiang family, right? Little uncle must be the most naive CEO in history. Ha ha ha. He always makes me laugh. Now that the surprise plan had been exposed, her brothers didn't try to hide it. They directly said that they wanted to discuss specific matters and that Xiangyi couldn't eavesdrop. Then they temporarily removed Xiangyi from the group chat. Xiangyi's mood was a little complicated as she stared at the prompt on the screen, speechless for a long time. The audience. Ha ha ha. She's in a daze. Who would have thought that Sister E would have such a day? Various marketing accounts accurately cut to the chase. Scene of a large group pet falling apart. Xiang family sibling relationship breakdown. Tragic. Sister E has been kicked out of the family. The drafts were out. Xiangyi ended the video call with her family and returned to Shui's side, only to find that he had won several rounds. Su Rundong's chess skills were not bad. Unfortunately, Zhou Yan was holding him back. With his own strength, he defeated the two of them again and again. Zhou Yan said faintly, I'm not playing anymore, I'm not playing anymore. You husband and wife are bullying me. The tip of Xiangyi's ear was slightly hot. She gently pinched it. Smoke was about to come out of the top of her head. But there was no rebuttal. The corners of Shui's lips curled up slightly. Her eyebrows and the corners of her eyes were filled with pride. Sai, does this show of yours like to trick the guests into eating dog food? Zhou Yan sighed and turned on his depression mode. He casually said, I have a story. Do you have wine? Li Jianyu, who was in the director's office, couldn't help but shout through the loudspeaker. No. Zhou Yan. Question mark. Su Rundong. Question mark. In the next second, the two of them witnessed the change in Xiangyi. The young girl's deer-like eyes were astonishingly bright. She was no longer calm and composed. Instead, she became passionate and enthusiastic. Red wine, beer, white wine, sake, fruit wine, rice wine, and medicinal wine. What kind do you want? Half an hour later, Zhou Yan finally crawled out of the manor's wine cellar, panting heavily with 2 jars of fruit wine in his hands. Xiangyi, who was behind him, also had 2 jars in her hands. She asked, Are 4 jars enough? Yes, it's enough. The little drunkard Xiangyi said in a regretful tone. Okay, if it's not enough, you must tell me. Zhou Yan asked, Brother E, you drank so much. Aren't you afraid that your family will nag at you? Xiangyi said, They usually say, That's all there is to it. Are you rearing fish? Zhou Yan said, Okay, sorry to disturb you. Chapter 773. In the living room. On the coffee table were shredded squid, mustard octopus, crispy peanuts, and a few other side dishes. The electric grill next to it was sizzling meat. It was supper time. Come, come, come. Cheers. Zhou Yan greeted. The 4 cups made a crisp sound when they collided. Xiangyi held the cup and gulped down a glass of wine. Her clear doe eyes were sparkling, and her drunkard's attributes were unmistakably revealed. Zhou Yan was shocked. When he said cheers, it was just a clink. He didn't really drink in one gulp. Sister E, with the way you drink, it would be strange if you didn't get drunk. However, he was the first to get drunk. By the time he drank the second jar of wine, Zhou Yan was already in a daze. The world in front of him was a blur. Everything he saw was blurry. His head was getting dizzier and dizzier. He felt like the whole world was spinning. Uncontrollably, he fell onto a shoulder that wasn't very broad. Like a tired bird returning to its nest or a whale returning to the sea, he felt inexplicably at ease. Su Rendong pushed his glasses up in a panic. Hey! Alcohol bolstered one's courage, which was vividly reflected in Zhou Yan. He roared. Hey, what? You're drunk. I'll send you back to your room to sleep. I'm not drunk. Zhou Yan slapped his thigh. We've already broken up. It's none of your business. Oh, they broke up. Wait, they broke up? Xiangyi's eyes widened. She stopped drinking. The livestream viewers had the same reaction as her. They were stunned on the spot. The 2 people who were rumored to be at odds were actually ex-lovers. Su Rendong clenched his fists. His black-rimmed glasses covered his eyes, making it impossible to see the emotions in his eyes. After a long time, he softly spat out 3 words. I'm sorry. Zhou Yan's eyes reddened. He muttered. Why should I break up just because you say so? Why should I forgive you just because you say sorry? You don't deserve it. Although he spoke firmly, Zhou Yan, who was known as a legendary singer in the circle, rubbed Su Rendong's shoulder childishly. He seemed to be acting spoiled. You even left without saying goodbye. Do you know how sad I was? She's already gone. What's the point of leaving so many songs behind? Who wants to sing the songs you wrote? Let me tell you, it's not like no one wants me. There are many people who like me. Xiangyi asked curiously. Is there some misunderstanding between the 2 of you? Su Rendong smiled bitterly. Not really. It's just that we were too young back then. Perhaps it was because the wine was too intoxicating, or perhaps it was because this night was too suitable for talking. But Su Rendong began to tell the story of him and Zhou Yan. From knowing each other to confirming their relationship, it only took a week. But gradually more and more conflicts arose. The 2 of them were equally arrogant, equally young and frivolous. They had each other in their hearts, but their eyes could not tolerate any sand. Their mouths were always hung with the most hurtful words. At first he was high-spirited, but later on, he gradually drifted away. What crushed the 2 of them was that Su Rendong's psychological problems were becoming more and more serious. He could no longer tolerate the most ordinary hand-holding and hugging. Perhaps we are destined not to be together. Su Rendong's heart ached. He took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. The audience also wanted to cry when they heard this. In the silence, Xiangyi slammed the table. The little girl's drunk voice was soft and soft. You wait. I'll find you the best psychiatrist right now. The couple I'm going to marry must be sweet. Burp. A sudden hiccup caused everything to stop abruptly. Xiangyi's ears turned crimson. She buried herself in Shui's arms. Her slender shoulders trembled with shyness. Chapter 774. Shui's gaze was gentle as she gently patted the girl's back. Untimely candy was spammed crazily in the livestream. Are you okay? The man's deep voice rang in her ear. Yes. Xiangyi's fingertips curled up slightly. She looked up and blinked her beautiful doe eyes. They were like moonlight with a layer of mist, hazy and rippling. It tugged at one's heartstrings. The girl straightened her back. Her swan-like neck was slender and fair, as if the person who burped just now wasn't her at all. She took out her phone and contacted a doctor she knew in Shizhou. Through this network, Xiangyi managed to get in touch with his doctorate instructor, and then she managed to get in touch with a super good psychiatrist. Not long after, the girl hung up the phone and made an okay gesture to Su Rendong. I've made an appointment. You can go to this address when the time comes. Su Rendong's eyebrows twitched when he saw the famous psychology studio. This was the doctor he had failed to make an appointment with for a long time. Xiang Yi actually settled it with just a few words? He felt a little conflicted for a moment. There were thousands of words in his mind, but in the end, he only said one sentence. Sister E, thank you. Xiang Yi drank a few more mouthfuls of wine. Her barely focused rationality gradually dissipated. She smiled at Su Rendong. I want it to be sweet all the time. As she smiled, the girl lost her balance and fell to the side. Sure Sui had already predicted this. She held her firmly and whispered softly, be good. Don't drink anymore, okay? No. Xiang Yi refused decisively. She said fiercely, I want to drink. Zhou Yan blindly shouted, I want to drink too. Then, Su Rendong pressed him back to the table and let him continue sleeping. Sure Sui said helplessly, you'll get drunk if you drink anymore. I won't get drunk. The girl mumbled. Where's my wine? Where's my wine? She rubbed her small hands on the table and picked up the glass to drink. After gulping down half the glass, Xiang Yi's eyes lit up. It's so delicious. This is the real happy water. Sure Sui said with a faint smile. Sister E, you're using my cup and drinking my wine. Xiang Yi's brain went blank for a moment. Huh. In the live stream, the audience was going crazy. Indirect kiss. Kill me. Such a cute Sister E Shuringdi, how can you resist? You. No. Sure. Ha ha, no wonder Director Li was so mad. The drunk Sister E is so different from her usual calm self. She's so soft, I want to bully her. Xiang Yi's slow brain couldn't figure out the logic for a long time. Instead, she finished the wine in the cup. Pour the wine. She ordered Sure Sui drunkenly. Sure Sui slowly poured her a glass of juice. Want it? If you want it, call me Big Brother. Su Rendong. Question mark. Is there such a thing? At this moment, he still didn't know that Sure Sui and the word dog could be equated in a sense. Xiang Yi suddenly hugged his neck and a look of astonishment flashed across his peach blossom-shaped eyes. He heard the girl call out sweetly, Hubby. The living room suddenly fell silent. Sure Sui's eyes were soaked in the night. He fed Xiang Yi juice with one hand and placed the other on the back of the girl's neck, gently rubbing it as if he was petting a cat. Xiang Yi's cherry lips were stained with a moist luster, and she couldn't tell the difference between fruit juice and wine. She tilted her head and asked, Why aren't you saying anything? Sure Sui chuckled. I'm afraid. It's not suitable for children. After all, our Sister E is still a child. Chapter 775. Kid? Not suitable for children? What do these mean? Xiang Yi's expression was serious as she fell into deep thought. On the other hand, Su Rendong's expression had a variety of expressions. From shocked otaku, JPG, to hello everyone, I'm Lemon Essence. JPU. I wish you two a blissful marriage. Give birth to a child soon and never be separated for 3 lifetimes. Okay, send me to the bridal chamber. Give me a quick gif. In the live stream, the untimely couple fans covered their mouths and cried tears of love for the two of them. Say it. Say it. I'm an adult, I can listen. Do you think I lack this amount of traffic? Shuringdi, please. Are you there? Let's discuss it. Can I become a member and watch the whole thing? Unfortunately, Sure Sui had no intention of continuing to tease Xiang Yi. He was completely gentlemanly and pure. I'll get Sister Ruan to send you back to rest, okay? Even his question was gentle and elegant, as if he was bathing in a spring breeze. The screen was filled with the words, Shuringdi can't do it, which dominated the live comments section again. Xiang Yi shook her head and hugged Sure Sui tightly. I want to be with my hubby. A certain Shuringdi gulped. Li Jianyu, who was in the director's office, was already grinning from ear to ear. He was grinning from ear to ear. No one would be able to resist this. Sure enough, Sure Sui pinched the girl's cheeks gently. Shall I send you home? Xiang Yi said in a sweet voice. Okay. Sure Sui and Su Rendong greeted each other before picking Xiang Yi up in a princess carry. There was a trace of envy in Su Rendong's eyes. The tall and slender man carried the delicate and soft bunny into the room. The traffic in the live stream had exploded. The average number of online viewers of Two Under One Roof was more than 10 million. and it could soar to 20 million on weekends and holidays. However, today, it had soared to 30 million. Following the popularity of the show, it could be said that the entire nation was watching the show. It was a true national romance series. He did it, he actually did it. I've locked this door and I've swallowed the key. The two of you are not allowed to come out for 3 days and 3 nights. Ah dog, you're not allowed to lay a hand on our Easy. Xiangyi is still a child, isn't she? In the director's office. At first, Li Jianyu was still grinning from ear to ear, but as he smiled, his mouth shrank and he began to feel sad again. Sob, what's going on? Seeing that their relationship is warming up, I'm gratified. But I also have the worry of an old father. Marrying off his daughter is just like this. Ruan Qing. I couldn't tell that you were a fan of Daddy. The more Li Jianyu thought about it, the sadder he felt. He leaned on her shoulder and sobbed. What are we going to do when we have a daughter in the future? Every time I think about her being taken away by another man, especially a bastard like Shi Sui, I'm so angry. Ruan Qing was speechless. She wanted to push him away, but when she saw him crying so sadly, she retracted her hand. Since Shi Sui's sister Yi is so sweet, I'll let him lean on me for a while. Just this once. There won't be a next time. She was serious. In the room, the moonlight was like water, sprinkling a clear glow on the ground. Whoosh! Shi Sui drew the curtains, his fair fingers well defined. He turned to look at Xiangyi. Xiangyi was lying on the bed and kissing Xiao Naofu, who had just woken up. Xiao Naofu was still in a daze. Meow? Suddenly meeting the murderous gaze of a cat. Ahem, a tiger. The kitten was so frightened that its ears trembled and it buried its head in Xiangyi's soft arms. Chapter 776. Meow meow meow. Stupid woman, save me. Xiao Naofu's frantic cries were a clear indication of its fear. Who knows if this dog of a man will cook a pot of cat meat? Ahem, tiger meat hot pot while this stupid woman is drunk. Xiangyi was snuggled by the warm kitten and moaned twice. Her voice was soft and soft. All of you stop it, it's ticklish. Xiao Naofu felt that the murderous aura in her eyes had become sharper. Shi Sui approached and coaxed Xiangyi softly, making her let go of her hand. He then grabbed the kitten by the back of its neck with his large palm. Meow. Xiao Naofu meowed pitifully and cowardly. It usually dared to be arrogant because it had Xiangyi's support. Now it really knew how to crawl. Shi Sui stroked its snow-white tail, which was fluffy and nice to the touch. Seemingly unintentionally, he said, I heard that there's a pet shop recently that's offering a buy one get one free neuter. Why don't you take little Shiji there? He paused and smiled without saying anything. Xiao Naofu was speechless. The chubby kitten's fur stood on end as it tucked its tail between its legs to cover its private parts. This dog of a man is indeed a good dog. Buy one get one free, this isn't a hint, it's a clear indication. Atrocious. Does he think I'll give in just like that? Xiao Naofu's icy blue eyes were filled with tears, as it revealed an expression of unwillingness to give in. In the next second, it frantically gave Shi Sui a New Year's greeting and called out in a flattering manner. Meow meow. Happy New Year. Give me the red packet. Don't ask me why a proud tiger like me knows how to do this. It's all because that stupid dog little Shiji couldn't learn it after a long time. Humph, I can learn it easily. Naofu is so obedient. Shi Sui looked at it affectionately. Go play somewhere else. Xiao Naofu felt as if it had been granted amnesty as it scurried to its cat bed and squeezed in with its butt sticking out. After dealing with the stupid cat, Shi Sui looked at Xiangyi again. The young girl was drunk and her eyelashes were half closed. She was very obedient. The small floral pillow was fluffy and soft, with a small depression in the middle and a few strands of cat fur sticking to it. Obviously, this was where Xiao Naofu usually slept. In Sister Yi's eyes, I can't even compare to a cat? Shi Sui sighed. Even a cat can sleep so close to Sister Yi. Xiangyi didn't know if she understood or not. After a moment of confusion, she patted the pillow next to her and said, Go to sleep, go to sleep. The innocent little rabbit invited the big bad wolf to sleep in the same bed. She was truly naive and innocent, causing people to sink into oblivion. In the cat bed, Xiao Naofu's eyes widened. That was its exclusive pillow. How could a stupid woman let a dog man sleep with her? Sob sob sob. This Huhu really wasn't that stupid woman's favorite. Women were indeed creatures who forgot about tigers once they had men. Just when Xiao Naofu thought that Sure Sui would lie down, the man casually tossed the pillow far away. The man lowered his voice and half-coaxed. Xiao Naofu slept with that pillow, what should I do? Xiao Naofu. You mother-f***er, you dog-aw. Under the dim orange night light, two shadows were reflected, ambiguous and seductive. Xiangyi tried hard to keep her eyes open, but all she could see was a pillow. Perhaps it was drunken talk. Or perhaps it was the deepest thought in her heart. The young girl's round doe eyes were moist, and her voice was warm and soft, like a red thread winding around the tip of one's heart. Then sleep with me on the same pillow. Chapter 777. The sound of her heartbeat was particularly obvious in the silent night. Sure Sui, who had successfully tricked the little rabbit, lay down on his side. The two of them faced each other and looked into each other's eyes. Xiangyi yawned and tears filled her eyes. Are you sleepy? Sure Sui asked. Yes. Go to sleep, Tutu. Sure Sui's plan was to wait for the little girl to fall asleep before leaving, but unexpectedly, the young girl actually rolled half a circle into his arms and hugged his waist. She buried her face in his neck and rubbed against it a few times. Her warm and moist breath gently wrapped around his collarbone and exploded at his nerve endings. This was his little rabbit. Sure Sui's breathing was slightly heavy. The strong and paranoid possessiveness was about to explode, but he suppressed it very well. His eyes were astonishingly dark. His Adam's apple moved and he said hoarsely, Tutu, I should go. Xiangyi responded vaguely and hugged him even tighter, not allowing him to retreat. Don't go, she said coquettishly. I want to hug my husband to sleep. Boom, a certain string snapped. What followed was a quiet room. The soft sounds and sobbing protests were amplified little by little. Xiangyi slept very soundly. At 7 o'clock in the morning, her biological clock kicked in on time. Just as she was about to open her eyes, she felt a cry in her sea of consciousness. Ishin, this is bad. This is bad. Focusing on her sea of consciousness, Xiangyi saw a personified black cat. It was her little system, or rather Ling Ye's system. Probably because of Xiao Naofu's influence, the little system also gave itself the appearance of a cat in her sea of consciousness. Ever since she found out that the so-called system was set up by Lingyi to stay in this world, Xiangyi hadn't contacted it for a long time. What's wrong? She raised her hand and gently stroked the black cat. The power of habit was indeed terrifying. The black cat cried and wailed. Lingyi, he's been discovered by the main system. Xiangyi frowned. What happened? This I can't tell you this. The black cat guiltily avoided her gaze. Lingyi didn't want me to tell you. Is he okay now? Is there anything I can do? After all, she had fought alongside Lingyi a few times when she was about to transmigrate to another world. Xiangyi couldn't just watch him get killed without doing anything. If she could help, she wanted to help as much as she could. Sob, Ishin is really good. Lingyi founded the Freedom Alliance. He wanted to establish a new order in the world of transmigrators. Or, to put it simply, he wanted to lead the transmigrators to resist the rule of the main system. There are a lot of fast transmigrators who didn't take the fast transmigration mission willingly. Instead, they were forcibly bound to it. Lingyi was one of them. His life was very miserable, yet he was still forced to start the fast transmigration mission. However, the main system didn't allow such a situation to occur. So, it defined Lingyi and the people from the Alliance as traitors and issued a mission to other fast transmigrators. Anyone who could defeat this organization would be able to immediately transcend. Transcend, in other words, was to get rid of the fast transmigration mission and return to a normal life. For many fast transmigrators, this was something that they could only dream of. Not everyone could withstand the frequent parting of life and death, the infighting, and the fighting and killing. Xiangyi narrowed her eyes. She wasn't the only one who was forced to transmigrate. What exactly was going on? The black cat's eyes were brimming with tears. Ishin, please persuade him not to go against the main system anymore. He will only listen to you. Can you contact him? Chapter 778. I can't contact him for the time being, but I'll think of something. When the time comes, I'll leave it to you, Ishan. Okay, Xiangyi answered. By the way, it's just like when the internet was hacked. Ishin, people from other planes have been attacking you. However, even Lingyi helped you block them. Ishin, did you expose your true identity? Black Cat tilted its head and asked curiously. Xiangyi was stunned. No. She had never revealed to anyone which plane she came from. She felt that it was a miracle that she could meet Lingyi. Black Cat was perplexed. Okay. Call me when there's news from Lingyi, Xiangyi instructed before withdrawing her consciousness. In the empty sea of consciousness, the black cat wagged its tail in boredom. Why don't I add that stupid cat Xiao Naofu into the group chat? When Xiangyi woke up, her head hurt so badly that it felt like it was about to explode. The tiredness brought about by the hangover and the impact of the huge amount of information made her thoughts extremely chaotic. Good morning. The low and lazy voice gently entered her ears. Xiangyi's body stiffened and her eyes widened sluggishly. She happened to be looking at Shui's impeccable face. The man's peach blossom eyes were half squinted like a lazy cat. Xiangyi's heart was pounding wildly like a drum. Why are you on my bed? Or, am I on your bed? She stuttered. She tried her best to recall what had happened last night. Well, she couldn't remember anything after she had helped Su Randong find a psychiatrist. Shui answered with a smile. It's hard to refuse such kindness. Xiangyi was speechless. What did I do? Her heart was in a mess, but she still looked very calm on the surface. Is that so? Okay, you can leave now. Shui raised his eyebrows. You weren't like this last night. You were crying and acting coquettishly, and you wouldn't let me go? In the next second, Xiangyi covered his thin lips with her hand. No, I wasn't. You do, a muffled voice said. I didn't. Xiangyi was expressionless. Considering that the little rabbit needed to be taken care of, Shui's eyes were filled with gentle light, and she didn't say anything inappropriate for children. However, their current posture seemed to be a little suggestive. Shui said calmly, I'm going for a morning run. Why don't you sleep for a while? Xiangyi also realized that she was like an octopus, clinging to Shui. Yes, calm down, calm down. It's nothing. What's wrong with hugging my boyfriend? After comforting, hypnotizing, and brainwashing herself, the little girl quietly climbed down, but accidentally brushed against. Whoosh! The little girl's head was so hot that smoke was about to come out. Shui flicked her forehead. There's some hangover tea on the bedside table. Remember to drink it. Xiangyi's voice trembled. Okay. After Shui left the room, the little girl shrank into the quilt and buried herself tightly. Xiao Naofu, who was in the cat's nest, seemed to have suddenly grown up overnight. It stared at Xiangyi, who was wrapped up in a ball on the bed, with a slightly aged expression. Stupid woman, you're just like me. You've been kissed by a dog man. We're not clean anymore. Shui cooked breakfast, and the taste was beyond Zhou Yan and Su Randong's expectations. Sister E hasn't woken up yet? Zhou Yan couldn't help but gossip. Shui, you're a little fierce. Ahem. Su Randong almost choked on his porridge and quickly coughed to remind him. Chapter 779. Zhou Yan also realized that something was amiss. Fortunately, they weren't on the live stream, otherwise many people would misunderstand. I'm sorry. He apologized, but he wouldn't do it again. Zhou Yan mustered up his courage and asked, Shuringdi, are you really okay? Last night, #Shuringdi is okay hashtag was trending all night. Shui smiled and said, no comment. It's so hard to get some attention. Zhou Yan sighed and took out his phone to look at the trending list. He was amused and said, look, it's still in second place. What's first place? Food poisoning? How can it be number one with such little comments? You must have bought it. After he read carefully, his expression turned ugly. *CK, this is not the right way to gain popularity. At the same time, Xiangyi received a call from Anan. My goodness, you're on the trending list. Anan sounded aggrieved. Last night, someone auctioned your dumplings and ended up in the hospital. It's a celebrity who's about to debut. It's obvious that you're deliberately creating hype. Your methods are too dirty. Then Sichuanbai's steady and serious voice sounded. Sister E, don't worry, the PR department is already handling it. Then Xiangyi heard Sichuanbai begin to comfort Anan in a low voice. Xiangyi asked, by the way, Mr. C, are you with Anan? Si Chuanbai didn't hide anything and said honestly, "We worked overtime last night, so we slept in the office." Xiang Yi said, "I see." Just as she was about to hang up, she heard Anan ask sadly, "My goodness, are you going to have a baby?" Xiang Yi was confused. "I saw your live stream last night." Anan was filled with righteous indignation. Shuringdi is a dog is Shuringdi. He seemed to have thought of something and looked at Si Chuanbai weakly. "I'm sorry, I should have considered your feelings. After all, she's your celebrity." Si Chuanbai's expression didn't change. "Well said, he deserves it." "Don't worry, I'm Sister Yi's family too." Xiang Yi was confused. What nonsense. The girl didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "We're just sleeping together." "Anan, will you get pregnant if you sleep together with Mr. C?" Anan had a sudden realization. So Shuringdi really can't do it. Si Chuanbai. For some reason he felt that he had been hinted at. Little colored feather was asking for a beating. Xiang Yi chatted with Anan for another 10 minutes. The two of them hit it off quite well. Every time they called they had endless things to talk about. Really? Really? Can I go freeload? Anan was overjoyed. I really like Zhou. I'm so happy. Super happy. After hanging up, Anan immediately went to pack his things. Si Chuanbai relayed his instructions in the work group while perking up his ears and waiting for his invitation. However, only to hear the words, "I'm setting off. Work hard." Si Chuanbai. Yes. The door was closed. The huge office suddenly became quiet and deserted. Si Chuanbai maintained his emotionless work style, but his mood was a little depressed. He took some time out of his busy schedule to send a concise message to Sher Sui. "Treat me to a meal." At 8:30 in the morning, the live stream of Two Under One Roof was launched. When the viewers didn't see Xiang Yi, they all turned into famous detectives and made all sorts of wild guesses. She can't get out of bed. Could it be that her brothers took her away to be educated overnight? Haha. She must be feeling guilty. After all, she was the one who got him hospitalized. Chapter 780. The power of the trending searches was terrifying, and it soon attracted a lot of new viewers. Many of them were fans of Mo Feifei, who was about to debut. The agency that Mo Feifei signed with was the same agency that Luo Churan, one of the fans of #MorningstarFall #couple. It was not comparable to the established agency, but it had a good marketing method. Although Mo Feifei had yet to debut, she used to be an internet celebrity, and the agency was preparing to send her to participate in the hottest girl group talent show in the country. Recently, they had released a lot of material and had already gained some popularity. As soon as Mo Feifei's fans entered the live stream, they immediately started criticizing without hesitation. However, most of Mo Feifei's fans were young, and because of Mo Feifei and her agency's deliberate guidance, their words were as harsh as they could be. "Who is Xiang Yi? She doesn't look that good in the photos. What kind of C-list celebrity is she? She can't do anything, but she's the #1 drug addict, right? Come out and apologize to our Feifei. At the very least, kneel down and apologize. Kowtow and admit your guilt." Seeing these comments, the loyal fans of Two Under One Roof were all confused. What kind of brain-damaged contestant is this? Children should study more, don't become a tool for the capitalist game. Xiang Yi is a C-list celebrity? Thank you, don't laugh at me. Your Feifei must be an international S-list celebrity. The Spicy Tutu fans expressed that they were used to it. Everyone maintained their usual calmness and reported what they had to, without giving Mo Feifei's fans a single glance. Mo Feifei's fans jumped up and down for a long time, and even their hands were tired from typing, but Xiang Yi still did not appear. It wasn't until past 10 o'clock that the girl's door opened. The camera turned and locked onto Xiang Yi. There was silence in the live stream for a moment. Xiang Yi's usual attire was mostly light sportswear or casual wear at home. In short, it was whatever was comfortable. Today she had obviously dressed up. The ginger yellow French retro tea dress accentuated the girl's snow-white skin and slender waist. The hem of the dress was ingeniously stitched with floral fabric. The neckline was V-shaped, but it wasn't too low. However, one could still notice the graceful curve of her body. She looked very good. There was a youthful vibe, and she had a bright beauty that was just beginning to mature. The three men in the living room looked over at the same time with different reactions. Zhou Yin was very surprised. Wow! Brother E, you're dressed so feminine today. Su Rendong was purely appreciating it. This dress is very beautiful. Shi Sui's deep eyes were filled with amazement. The little rabbit had grown up. His gaze paused below the girl's collarbone for a moment, and he calmly suggested, "It should look good with a scarf." Really? Didn't Xiangqi send a few messages 2 days ago? What was worth mentioning was that Xiangyi's brothers had never stopped sending her deliveries. Basically, whenever he ate something delicious, saw some pretty clothes, hair accessories, or heard that some fun game consoles, toys, and ornaments were popular, he would immediately think of his sister. Then I'll go back and check it out. After a while, Xiangyi came out with a floral scarf. It had to be said that Xiangqi's color matching was at the level of a genius. With the scarf as embellishment, Xiangyi's outfit was even more outstanding. In the live stream, not a single comment from Mo's fans could be seen. They were all taken over by Mo's fans. She's a pretty girl. TSK, she can obviously rely on her looks, but she has to rely on her talent. You call her looks SOSO? She can King beat all the beauties in the entertainment industry. Chapter 781. In hindsight, countless people recalled why Xiang Yi had first entered the entertainment industry and became popular. Wasn't it because of her face? However, since the start of the live stream, the girl hadn't dressed up much, so everyone's attention was rarely on Xiangyi's face. Today, Mo Feifei's fans' actions had instantly drawn everyone's attention to Xiangyi's looks. Especially when they searched for Mo Feifei's photo, it was really as the saying went, without comparison there would be no harm. Mo Feifei was naturally good-looking as well. She walked the path of a pure goddess and would often post articles about the most beautiful bare-faced woman in 1,000 years. However, in front of Xiangyi it was really not enough. Whether it was the exquisiteness of her facial features, the proportion of her figure, or her aura, Xiangyi was a complete blow to her. Apart from being amazed by Xiangyi's beauty, the most important thing she got was, "Ha ha ha, Shuringdi is afraid that Sister Yi will expose herself. I'm also jealous today. Sisters, I suggest you rewind to the 6th second of Sister Yi's appearance. Take a screenshot and zoom in. You will see a red mark below the collarbone at the edge of the collar. Is it a strawberry? I'm only asking about a type of fruit. F***ck. Shuringdi is too excited. Grass, a type of plant. F***ck. Let's get married. I'm going to faint. Sun, a type of celestial body." The netizens were gobbling up candy while Xiangyi and the others chatted in the living room. There was a summer break at Little Rabbit Farm, starting from tomorrow for 7 days. In previous years, the tradition was that Xiangyi would cook for everyone. This year, with the clown Zhou Yan around, he insisted on holding a concert for the uncles, aunties, and uncles of Little Rabbit Farm. Su Rendong hesitated. "Your ears. It's fine. I can do it. We don't need any professional equipment. Just a karaoke machine will do. Everyone can participate too." Su Rendong nodded when he saw how excited he was. In any case, he would just accompany him. Xiangyi said, "Then I'll go talk to Uncle Wang and see if there are any black pigs in a bad mood. I'll kill 2 for dinner." The bullet screen was filled with laughter. It was all Little Black Pig. "Don't come over." Most fans were the angriest. They realized that not only were they being ignored, they were being completely ignored. What a lousy concert. What's so good about it? It sounded very rustic. Also, Xiangyi actually slaughtered pigs. She even killed 2 of them. It sounded so cruel. They were furious, but it was useless. They couldn't say anything in the live broadcast room. Other than the Yen fans, Xiangyi had the most number of foodie fans. They were discussing the 100 ways to eat the little black pig. Instead, it was Zhou Yan who brought it up. "Dumpling poisoning?" Xiangyi frowned. "Is it serious? How is she now?" Zhou Yan was stunned. He had seen a lot of intrigue in the entertainment industry, so he was not used to Xiangyi's reaction. There was a 99% chance that it was just a publicity stunt to ride on her popularity, but Xiangyi's first concern was her body. "There shouldn't be a problem." Mo's fans. "Humph, she's just a hypocrite. I'll go take a look." Xiangyi lowered her head and sent a message to Anan and Uncle Butler. "Zhou Yan. Brother E, are you kidding? That Mo Feifei is in North City. So far away. How are you going to get there? Half an hour later, the sound of a helicopter's propeller could be heard in the courtyard. Oyen. Private helicopter? Sorry to disturb, really? Chapter 782. Two crews landed on the top floor of a private hospital in North City. Since Xiangyi was going out, Shui naturally had to follow her. The itinerary was confidential and the hospital's security was strong. Their appearance did not attract much attention. The two of them registered at the reception desk and the nurses could not help but steal glances at them. There was indeed a huge difference between celebrities and ordinary people. Their hospital would occasionally have internet celebrities, but they had to admit that there was still a wall between them and celebrities. In the ward, her manager was instructing Mo Feifei to pay attention to her expression later. We're definitely going to ride on this wave of popularity today. Even Jesus can't stop us. Mo Feifei, who was lying on the hospital bed, was beautiful but also very haggard. She looked pitiful. However, the moment she opened her mouth, she said, "What should I do? My little heart is thumping. I'm so nervous." Her manager said, "You'd better not talk later. I'm here." "Sai, why did such a beautiful girl have such a mouth?" The staff at the side adjusted the live broadcast equipment and said, "Brother, it's done. I guarantee that when Shui and Xiangyi come in later, we can start the live broadcast." The manager nodded. "Okay. Thank you for your hard work." He gave out 2 packs of cigarettes. A few staff members chuckled and took the cigarettes out. Mo Feifei rubbed her stomach with a pained expression. "Brother, I feel terrible. Bear with it." The manager persuaded her earnestly. "Why did we endure for so long? Isn't it to make a name for ourselves? Today is your best chance. If you miss today, you don't know how long you'll have to endure." Mo Feifei thought of the hellish life she had been living during this period, and could not help but shudder. At this moment the manager received a message from the stalker, and was overjoyed. "They're here. Shui and Xiangyi are in the elevator." He quickly opened the live broadcast and greeted the fans who had been waiting for a long time. "Hello Mo fans. I'm Feifei's manager, Brother Fei. Feifei, say hello to your dear fans." Mo Feifei looked at the camera and a gentle smile appeared on her face. She was barefaced and her straight black hair was let down. She looked innocent but also a little weak. She was known by the netizens as the femme fatale. She moved her lips and was about to say something when Brother Fei shot her a cold glare. She immediately shut up and waved her hand. Her hands were fair and slender, and on the back of her hands, there were even traces of bruises from the drip. In an instant most fans felt their hearts ache to the extreme. Sister Feifei has suffered. I'm so angry, I really want to press Xiangyi down and kowtow to Feifei. Our Feifei's debut is imminent and was supposed to be her best stage, but now she's lying here because of Xiangyi. She's still a child, why does she have to bear all this? Tears. Brother Fei's timing was just right. As soon as this wave of pitiful ended, there was a knock on the door of the ward. "Ahem, please come in." Shui opened the door and entered the ward first. Most fans instantly misunderstood. "Wow, Shui actually came to see our Feifei. Does he like our Feifei?" In just a moment, Xiangyi's figure appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Most fans were heartbroken. "Sorry to disturb you, Miss Mo," Xiangyi greeted in a gentle voice. Brother Fei was about to go up to her when he suddenly had a bad feeling. Mo Feifei exclaimed in surprise. "Sister, you're really here." Brother Fei was speechless. He had tried so hard to guard against her, but he never expected that it would be impossible to guard against her. Chapter 783. In the live stream, most fans were also dumbfounded. What did we just hear? Mo Feifei was indeed an internet celebrity, but she usually only posted beautiful photos on social media, and had never posted any audio clips. In the beginning, most fans thought that the agency was trying to protect their undebuted artist and maintain a sense of mystery. But now it seemed that wasn't the case. Xiangyi nodded at Mo Feifei and said, "I heard about what happened yesterday. How are you feeling? Can I take your pulse?" Mo Feifei said, "That would be great." Brother Fei interrupted her. "I'm sorry, Miss Yang. Feifei has an attending doctor in charge of her treatment." In other words, he didn't trust Xiangyi to treat Mo Feifei. Xiangyi was already mentally prepared for this. Can I talk to her attending doctor then? Brother Fei said sternly. Miss Xiang, are you trying to bribe the doctor? In that case, Xiangyi paused for a moment. Brother Fei immediately perked up and tried to deal with Xiangyi's next scheme. Unexpectedly, she just said casually, I won't disturb you then. Brother Fei was speechless. Most fans were speechless. What? Isn't Xiangyi here to apologize to Mo Feifei? Is this the attitude of an apology? 2. Uproar. 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 Most fans immediately scolded. If Xiangyi saw the bullet screen comments, she would truly understand what modern internet culture was. Brother Fei said angrily, Our Feifei was hospitalized because she ate the dumplings you made. Are you trying to shirk responsibility? Xiangyi said calmly, Have you sent the remaining dumplings to a professional organization for testing? If so, when the test results are out, I'll definitely take responsibility if it's my fault. If it's not my fault, sorry, I won't accept any scams. In fact, from the moment she entered and observed Mo Feifei's complexion, she was already 90% sure that Mo Feifei was fine. Brother Fei choked and glanced at Mo Feifei. Mo Feifei shrank into the blanket guiltily. Where are the remaining dumplings? I've finished all my food, Xiangyi. Miss Mo, rest well and pay attention to your diet. Sure Sui. I wish Miss Mo a speedy recovery. Mo Feifei's management company smelled the buzz and quickly bought a trending topic. The viewers who had just entered the live broadcast room saw that Sure Sui and Xiangyi were about to leave. She's leaving just like that? Have you apologized? Why did Xiangyi bring Sure Sui here? Are you using your status to suppress others? Seeing that the two of them were about to leave, Brother Fei panicked. Hey, wait a minute. Xiangyi. In just a few minutes, Brother Fei made a decision. Well, please take Feifei's pulse. I heard that your medical skills are quite good. The hospital only gave a diagnosis of food poisoning and did not say anything else. As Mo Feifei's manager, Brother Fei was quite worried about her. Xiangyi nodded and walked to Mo Feifei's bedside. She asked, Can I? Mo Feifei was speechless. Sure. Her expression was like a little fangirl who had seen her idol, her eyes sparkling. Xiangyi. Please give me your hand. Mo Feifei did as she was told. When she felt Xiangyi's hand on her wrist, Mo Feifei couldn't help but sigh. Sister, what kind of hand cream are you using? Your little hand is so tender and slippery. Brother Fei. Why couldn't his artiste be a mute? Chapter 784. In the live stream, most fans went from bewildered to disheartened. This is Feifei. Feifei, why can you speak? Don't shoot. Oh no, don't speak. I'm sorry, I'm dead. This woman with a strong accent turned out to be their goddess, Mo Feifei. Many of Mo's fans were instantly disillusioned. Xiangyi's expression remained unchanged as she finished taking Mo Feifei's pulse. Weak spleen, weak stomach and hollow qi. Xiangyi frowned slightly. Do you usually eat and sleep irregularly? Mo Feifei said embarrassedly. I'm used to staying up late. I usually sleep at 2 or 3. The audience watching the live stream resonated with this. TSK, how many young people don't stay up late these days? As for eating, Mo Feifei glanced at the screen and gritted her teeth. She grabbed Xiangyi's hand with tears in her eyes, as if she had found a family member. Sis, I haven't had a full meal in a long time. Your dumplings last night were so delicious. I'm going to finish them off one by one. But I'm still hungry, what should I do? Brother Fei held the phone holder with one hand and covered half of his face with the other. He really couldn't bear to look at her. The goddess persona that he had painstakingly created had collapsed into a female psycho. Xiangyi said, You probably don't eat properly, and you're not eating properly. Plus, you're overworked, which led to a lack of energy and blood, resulting in a weak spleen. Mo Feifei was dumbfounded. Sis, what are you talking about? Brother Fei staggered and trembled as he reached for the heart-calming oral fluid. His own artist had to die with tears in her eyes. After this psycho, Mo Feifei was probably going to have another black mark for being uncultured. Xiangyi explained in layman's terms, You usually eat too little and eat too much all of a sudden. Your spleen and stomach can't take it, which led to a series of reactions. However, your pulse does show signs of poisoning. Apart from the dumplings, what else did you eat? Mo Feifei thought for a while and took out a bag to show to Xiangyi. Boss told me to eat this meal replacement powder. Do you usually eat this? That's not good. My boss said that I'm too fat. Someone with such a big frame like me looks tough on camera. I have to be as thin as a piece of paper to look good. When it came to her figure, Mo Feifei was obviously not confident and was in low spirits. Brother Fei was stunned. Didn't you tell me that you were eating a nutritious meal? Recently he had been helping Mo Feifei run for resources, pull in connections, and sign the talent show contract. He did not have the time to care about Mo Feifei's life. Every time he asked her, she would say that she was eating the nutritious meals arranged by the company. Brother Fei didn't take it to heart. Mo Feifei looked innocent and showed Brother Fei the full name of the substitute fan frowny face nutritional milk substitute low-calorie free fullness. Brother Fei cursed it out loud. Was the big boss crazy about money? In order to make his artiste lose weight, he actually resorted to unscrupulous means. How could she eat this every day? Xiangyi tore open the bag of meal substitute powder, sniffed it and sighed. I can roughly smell a few grains and additives. If you eat too much, the nutrients you consume will be too monotonous. It will cause malnutrition and may even cause food poisoning. Brother Fei felt terrible and wanted to argue with the boss. Before he turned off the live stream, he looked at the comments in the live stream in despair. They were probably all scolding Feifei. To his surprise, the style of the comments was like this: frowny face stop dancing in a girl group. Change to crosstalk in debut. Sisters, you're so funny. Brother Fei? Chapter 785. He really didn't understand what young people were thinking these days. He took a closer look at the data. Admittedly, some of Mo Feifei's fans had left because of Mo Feifei's accent, but the number of fans had increased even more. Our sister isn't fat at all. Trash company. Sister, quickly terminate the contract. Feifei, hurry up and hug Xiangyi's thigh. Change your contract to Tomato Entertainment. You'll be provided with food and a full stomach. She ate food instead of food poisoning and ended up in the hospital. I'm sorry. Although it's pitiful, I think it's hilarious. I used to think that Mo Feifei was quite pretentious, but now I suddenly feel like she's a treasure. Brother Fei couldn't believe it. Mo Feifei had actually gained fans with that mouth of hers. In the blink of an eye, Brother Fei caught the main point. Xiangyi was the CEO of Tomato Entertainment. The contract he had gotten for Mo Feifei was only for a year, and the penalty for breach of contract wasn't high either. Now that the company was using Mo Feifei as a tool, frequent over-marketing wasn't good for an artist's development. Thinking of this, Brother Fei's expression changed instantly. He chuckled and said, "It's a misunderstanding. This is all a misunderstanding. But Sister E, since you're already here, there's something I want to tell you. Feifei has always liked you in Little Rabbit Farm. If there's a chance, I hope Feifei can go on a day trip there." This was the only thing he could do. He was just trying his best to pave a way for Mo Feifei. Sorry Feifei, this is all I can do for you. Brother Fei's heart was filled with sorrow. He even added a sad background music for himself. However, he heard Xiangyi's melodious voice. If you want to go, you can go anytime. There wasn't any special reason. It was just that Mo Feifei was really too beautiful. The kind of beauty that Xiangyi couldn't resist. Mo Feifei was overjoyed. Really? Then there's no time like the present. Can I go to your house for a meal, as a guest today? Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. Okay. Brother Fei tried to defend Mo Feifei. Our Feifei isn't going for the meal. She really likes Sister. She usually doesn't eat that much. The more he spoke, the less confident he became. After the misunderstanding was resolved, Mo Feifei happily boarded Xiangyi's tutu and flew straight to the manor. Brother Fei had already turned off his live stream, but there were still a lot of Mo fans watching the live stream. Their expressions were blank. Their minds were in a trance. Not only was Xiangyi not the culprit behind Mo Feifei's food poisoning, but she even invited the starving Mo Feifei to her house for dinner. He was simply a philanthropist. When she thought about how they had scolded Xiangyi so many times, she suddenly felt his face hurt. In the live stream of Two Under One Roof, the audience had been looking forward to it for a long time. Finally, Xiangyi and Shui came back. But why was there a beauty following behind him? The fans of the untimely couple quickly went into a state of alert, afraid that this woman would not know what was good for her and would seduce Shuringdi. But what caught them off guard was that she was actually holding Xiangyi's arm intimately. Good. Safe. Wait a minute, safe my foot. Sister E is popular with both men and women. It's not safe for girls either. The staff stepped forward and gave Xiangyi and Shui the microphones. After hesitating for a while, they also gave one to Mo Feifei. The conversation between her and Xiangyi was clearly heard by everyone. What are you doing? Killing a pig? Sis, I'll do it for you. Okay, I'll sharpen the knife for you then? Everyone was speechless. Two beauties were killing a pig online? Chapter 786. Oh my, that's great. We can still chat for a while. Okay. Hence, the two left Shui behind and headed towards Little Rabbit Farm. Everyone was speechless. New beauty, let's make a deal. Can we turn off the mic? Campus goddess when she doesn't open her mouth. Battle goddess when she opens her mouth. I hate Shuringdi is such a gigolo. He doesn't even know how to butcher a pig. Shui is a noob. +1. +2. Plus ID number. Somehow, the style changed from lamenting Mo Feifei's accent to despising Shui for not knowing how to butcher a pig. Because of this, Shui also became the trending topic of #ShuringdiRookie hashtag. The Shui sisters' reaction was, that's right, he's a noob. He's a good-for-nothing man except for his acting skills and looks. The anti-fans were speechless. What use do I have for this keyboard? Are you all fake fans? Why are you more anti-fans than us? Little Rabbit Farm. Considering Mo Feifei's health, Xiangyi was in no hurry to bring her to butcher a pig. Instead, she made her some food first. She cooked a pot of Sanxian rice noodles, a plate of spiced beef, milk and strawberries. Mo Feifei's face was buried in the bowl from beginning to end, and she didn't even look up. The audience's comments changed from, pretty girl, pay attention to your image, to, ah, this girl is so good at eating. After eating 3 bowls of rice noodles, Mo Feifei still felt unsatisfied. If it weren't for Xiangyi stopping her, she would have eaten more. Delicious. It's so delicious. Mo Feifei's eyes were brimming with tears. I haven't had a full meal in a long time. Xiangyi pulled out a few tissues to help her wipe her mouth. However, Mo Feifei dodged. No, I can still eat some fruits. I'll wipe them together later. Save the tissue. After this meal, I don't know when my next full meal will be. Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's not good for your body to lose weight by dieting. Besides, you're already very thin. Mo Feifei was 165 centimeters tall and weighed 46 kilograms. Her body proportions were excellent and she looked very slim in real life. No, I have to be as thin as a size 0 girl. Ah. Mo Feifei found a popular website called 1 Billion Young Girls' Dream. Girl number 0's height and weight chart. There were strict requirements for a girl's height and weight. For example, a height of 150 centimeters and a weight requirement of 33 kilograms Xiangyi. According to this table, wouldn't it mean that only a skinny body was the so-called ideal? The girl's milky white face tensed up. Mo Feifei, beauty standards are diverse. It's not only the skinny ones who look good. There are many types of beauty. Slim, healthy, and plump ones are all beautiful. If someone attacks or humiliates you because of your figure, it's not your problem. It's the other party's problem. Mo Feifei's mouth was stuffed with strawberries. At this moment she had forgotten to chew. Her cheeks were puffed up and she looked silly. However, she looked even more pitiful than her usual delicate self. Sister E is so righteous. Love. Mo Feifei, eat more. Use a basin. Exactly, why do all girls have to be thin? Isn't it because society pursues the abnormal beauty standards of fair, thin, and young? Most of Mo Feifei's fans also felt that Xiangyi's words made sense. However, there were a few extreme Mo Feifei's fans who thought differently. Ordinary people are ordinary people, and female celebrities are female celebrities. Xiangyi is trying to make our Feifei unable to be a female celebrity, and can only be an ordinary person, right? Smile. Chapter 787. In the living room, Anan was shaking Xiao Naofu's hammock while scrolling through the comments. When he saw the comments, his head was filled with question marks. Are these people brainless? With this level of reading comprehension, I'll get a negative score in the language exam, right? He typed furiously and passionately with the trolls. Within a few minutes, a notification popped up on the screen. Your account has been banned. Ah, this system is too smart. How can it still be discovered that I'm cursing when I use homophones and separators? Anand scratched his head in pain. His colorful hair was in a mess, sticking up here and there. Just as he was going crazy, a pure black phone suddenly appeared in front of him. He looked up and saw an expressionless Si Chuanbai in a suit. Mr. Si, why are you here? Your artist can invite you, but my artist can't invite me? Oh. A certain top manager said in a businesslike tone. Why are you in a daze? Use my account. Anand carefully said. What if it gets banned? His messy hair was suddenly smoothed out by a big hand. Mr. C sneered in his ear. Do your best. If it gets banned, I'll apply for 100 more accounts. Anand was speechless. As expected of Mr. C. Xiao Naofu, who was on the hammock, looked even more weary. After all, it was Huhu who had to bear all the public display of affection. Mo Feifei's stomach was full, and she patted her bulging belly with satisfaction. Suddenly remembering Brother Fei's instructions, she blushed and said timidly, am I eating too much? It's okay. She was a far cry from her brothers who brought bowls, pots, and pots of rice. Let me see the comments. Mo Feifei took out her phone and clicked into the live stream. When she saw the malicious comments, her good mood instantly disappeared. She slumped on the table gloomily. I've really been scolded. In the live stream, everyone was saying how much she ate. There were even insults such as like a pig. Sooner or later you'll become a dead fatty. And other people are runaway princesses. Mo Feifei is a runaway stepmother. What made Mo Feifei feel the most uncomfortable was that she had implicated Xiangyi. When Xiangyi said that there is a diversity of aesthetics, it was obviously for her health, but these netizens misinterpreted Xiangyi's meaning. Xiangyi makes everyone else fat while she's thin and beautiful. Bah, scheming B****. Xiangyi makes it sound so easy. But how can a person not care about what others think when they live in this world? Why don't you eat minced meat? Female celebrities have to be thin and pretty. After choosing this line of work, he could enjoy the pursuit and high income at the same time, but he couldn't even bear this little bit of hardship. Xiang XX, do whatever you want, but don't lead our Feifei astray. I'm sorry, sister. Mo Feifei said sadly. I've caused you trouble. I shouldn't have come. Xiangyi glanced at the comments and patted Mo Feifei's head. Don't be upset. I'll help you fight back. Mo Feifei looked at him suspiciously. You know how to insult people? After all, Xiangyi looked gentle and soft. She didn't seem like someone who would insult others. Xiangyi? I think so. She patted her face and changed her expression. Isn't this super fierce? Mo Feifei nodded. There's an inner taste. The audience was looking forward to it. This was Xiangyi's first time insulting netizens. Many marketing accounts were even ready to write their drafts in real time. In the next second, even the young girl turned her little face and picked up the butcher's knife beside her. She said fiercely, If you guys keep talking nonsense, I'm going to sharpen my knife. Chapter 788. Mo Feifei helped to add to the atmosphere. What are you looking at? If you keep looking, I'll skin you. Everyone was speechless. Faced with the threat of two great beauties, who would be afraid? That's it? That's it? Yeah, Sister E, you're super fierce. I'm not being perfunctory. Is this how a cute girl scolds others? Ha ha ha, sorry, I don't feel scared, I just find her cute. The netizens who were active just now were at a loss for words. This. How were they supposed to retort? It wasn't easy for them to calm down. But these netizens brought up the female celebrities must be thin remark again. Xiangyi asked in confusion, Aren't female celebrities human? The girl casually asked a rhetorical question, which instantly made the trolls shut their microphones. This question seemed simple, but it wasn't easy to answer. If they said that female celebrities weren't human, they would definitely become the target of public criticism. If they said that female celebrities were human, wouldn't that mean they were following Xiangyi's rhythm and agreeing with Xiangyi's point of view? Female celebrities are human too. Why can't we be more tolerant of the aesthetic standards of girls' bodies? Xiangyi's tone was gentle as she spoke. Why does everyone have to be the same size? Why do they have to be uniformly beautiful and conform to the established standards? If it's for health reasons, I don't agree with any extreme weight loss that involves dieting or even going on a hunger strike. Diet pills shouldn't be taken carelessly. They're very harmful to the body. My big brother said that every girl is sparkling. It's human nature to pursue beauty, but beauty shouldn't be limited to only one form. What do you think? Mo Feifei stared straight at Xiangyi. Although she didn't quite understand what Xiangyi meant, she felt that Xiangyi was too charming when she was serious. In the live stream, many viewers were deep in thought. Thinking about it carefully, Xiangyi's words did make sense. Which girl didn't want to lose weight every day? However, from a health point of view, did every girl really need to lose weight? Not necessarily. However, the aesthetic standards of the public had become an invisible shackle that set the rules. Not conforming to the rules was a mistake. Over 100 pounds was considered a sin. You're a troll and you still have the nerve to troll her? They probably don't have mothers. Some trolls racked their brains and tried to type a rebuttal, but the more they thought about it, the more they felt. Sister E was right. Many people betrayed them and agreed with Xiangyi's words. There were also some people who were stubborn and refused to listen no matter what. To this, Xiangyi's response was sharpening the knife. The pig slaughtering knife had been sharpened by the whetstone. The girl tested the blade with her finger and calmly said, "Feifei, pick a pig." Hence, 2 lucky black pigs that were suffering from depression were chosen. They screamed as their limbs were tied up. Mo Feifei really knew how to butcher a pig. She used the knife to show which part of the body was the best to cut. From time to time, she would even discuss with Xiangyi. Naturally, the scene of the pig being slaughtered would not be broadcasted. However, right before the broadcast, Xiangyi smiled and said to the camera, "Be more obedient in the future. Troll." Suddenly they shivered. They had a feeling that in the next second, the knife was going to come at them through the cable. This woman Xiangyi was too terrifying. Miraculously, the live stream became quiet. The loyal viewers of Two Under One Roof jokingly called this scene #Ifei slaughters pigs to troll hashtag, leaving a strong mark in the history of variety shows. Chapter 789. Come, let's serve the food. Little Rabbit Farm was bathed in the glow of dusk, and it was bustling with activity. Wang Xuanli had already instructed his men to set up the tables and chairs, and the meal felt like a banquet. Dishes that made the audience drool were served one by one: braised pork, fried crispy pork, boiled pork slices, stir-fried pork with green peppers. 2 depressed little black pigs made up for this sumptuous feast. There was even a grill set up at the side. Li Jianyu had used his power for personal gain and snatched the job of roasting pork belly. The fresh pork was sliced into thin slices and roasted over the fire for a while before the fat dripped off. A small brush was used to brush Xiangyi's secret barbecue sauce, and the aroma seemed to penetrate the screen and reach the audience's nostrils. Apart from that, the local specialties of Little Rabbit Farm were also indispensable, and they filled up the entire table. Xiangyi had prepared cold dishes, braised dishes, and other dishes in advance. Her ability to plan time was amazing, and she only needed to cook a few simple dishes. She went to the yard, served a glass of fruit wine, and thanked all the workers. Most of the workers on the farm were farmers from nearby and didn't earn much. After Xiangyi built the farm, not only could they work to earn a salary, they could also plant all kinds of excellent seeds that Little Rabbit Farm and the Research Institute had collaborated on, and their crop output had increased substantially. Now that their village had become a famous high-tech farming demonstration base, they were extremely grateful to Xiangyi. The person in charge of Little Rabbit Farm, Wang Xuanli, scratched his head and smiled honestly. "Miss Xiang, we should be the ones thanking you. There's no need to say anything else, it's all in the wine." He raised his glass and downed it in one gulp. The other workers followed suit. After drinking, Xiangyi gave everyone a red packet. This was also a tradition of Little Rabbit Farm. Every year there would be a year-end bonus. In the live stream, many viewers were envious. There's actually a high-temperature holiday, and they're even giving out red packets. What kind of godly boss is Sister E? Some workers even began to ask about Little Rabbit Farm's recruitment requirements. After she was done, Xiangyi returned to the main table. Mo Feifei was engrossed in her food, and it was as if she didn't recognize anyone, which shocked Zhou Yan. 5 bowls. Sister, this is yours. Zhou Yin gave Mo Feifei a thumbs up. Mo Feifei did not even raise her head. She still remembered what Brother Fei had told her to do. She mumbled, "It's not that I can eat, it's just that this bowl is too small." Everyone laughed, but they didn't have any ill intentions. Su Nindong had severe misophobia. While he was suffering, Xiangyi brought him a separate boxed lunch. The lunchbox had 2 layers and a total of 8 dishes, exuding an enticing aura. Does this make you feel better? The feeling of someone caring about his feelings it was pretty good. Su Rendong smiled gratefully. Thank you, Sister E. I've troubled you. Although he was still a clean freak, it was still within his tolerance range. Not long after, the karaoke machine was delivered. Xiang Feng had finally arrived with Shiryu. Shiryu looked like he had nothing to live for. She did not know what he had been through in the past 2 days. He threw himself into Xiangyi's arms and sniffed pitifully. I don't want to play anymore. I want to study. Hoo. Xiangyi stroked his head. How about you write 10 pages of summer homework later? I want to write 20 pages. The audience. ? Little kid. Your idea is a little dangerous. Chapter 790. On the other side, Zhou Yin and Xiang Feng had already become familiar with each other. The two of them even sang classic songs such as My Good Brother, My Friend's Wine, and Men Are Tired. It was worth mentioning that when the two of them put their arms around each other's shoulders, Su Rendong's expression was shockingly ugly. Anan's hand that was holding chopsticks trembled slightly, because he had battled with the netizens for too long today. Si Chuanbai pushed his glasses up and snatched the chopsticks away from him, replacing them with a spoon. Anan reached out to take it, only to realize that Si Chuanbai had no intention of giving him the spoon. Instead, he scooped a spoonful of rice and brought it to his mouth. Huh. Anan was dumbfounded. Mr. C.W., what are you doing? You're fighting for Sister E, so I'm feeding you. What's wrong with that? Si Chuanbai asked in a logical manner. Anan. Well, it seemed to make sense. Forget it, he couldn't let the rice fly away when it was already in his mouth. Thus, Anan opened his mouth wide and began to eat the rice in big mouthfuls. In the live stream, all sorts of evil couples wished they could set off firecrackers. Everyone's head is clear. Stable. Today's sugar content has exceeded the limit. Sisters in front, you're screaming too loudly. Chicken coop warning. The karaoke concert was very successful, and almost everyone participated. Wang Xuanli and the others also sang 2 old songs, evoking many people's memories of that era. Anan sang out of tune thousands of miles away, causing the crowd to burst into laughter. Meanwhile, Mo Feifei dominated the audience with a good song and received the warmest applause. The crowd gradually dispersed, and in the end, only Xiangyi's table was left. Zhou Yin jeered. Shuringdi, come one. I've never heard you sing before. Everyone thought that Shi Sui would politely decline, but he unexpectedly curled his lips and actually agreed. I'm sorry for my incompetence, everyone. The comments in the live stream were like a sea, and everyone was extremely excited. They had lived long enough. They had actually waited until the day Shuringdi sang. After watching this for a long time, all sorts of miracles could indeed happen. Shi Sui's well-defined fingertips tapped on the screen of the karaoke machine a few times and selected a song. He sang a very old love song. In the wind of this summer night, it was gentle and affectionate. Even if there are thousands of songs in the future floating in the distance on my way, even if there are 1,000 stars to come brighter than tonight's moon, can't compare with the beauty of this night, doesn't make me appreciate it more. Because you sing with me tonight. The live stream was in an uproar. Brother debut as a solo singer. I'll be the first to buy the album. Shuringdi's singing is amazing. Is there anything this man doesn't know? Xiangyi leaned on Mo Feifei's shoulder. Her eyes were curved and her dimples were shallow. This was an incomparably warm and beautiful night. Being slightly drunk was better than being drunk, and there was someone by her side. The person she liked was singing a beautiful love song. If time could stop at this moment, it must be. Just as this thought flashed through her mind, Xiangyi heard the frantic screams of the small system in her mind. Yishun, it's over, that attack is coming again. Boo-hoo, Lingyi isn't here, I can't take it anymore. It let out a blood-curdling scream and then went silent. After the song ended, Shui was about to hand the microphone to someone else when he suddenly sensed something and turned to look at Xiangyi. The girl's face was extremely pale. Her cherry lips moved as if she wanted to say something, but she slid weakly onto a mofefe and fell into a deep sleep with a bang. The microphone fell to the ground, emitting an ear-piercing and sharp sound of electricity. Today, it was still Unwan who updated early. Trailer. There will be a small update tomorrow. Good night, please vote for me Jujujo. Chapter 791. There was chaos at the scene. Mofefe screamed. Ah, Sister E, what's wrong with you? The girl who had fallen into her arms had already been held by a pair of large hands. She could vaguely feel that Shui's hands were trembling. Shui helped the girl lie flat on the ground and checked her arteries with his fingers. The girl's pulse was stable and everything was normal. She was like a sleeping beauty in a fairy tale, exquisite and beautiful, but she would never open her eyes. With Sichuanbai, the top manager, around, he immediately dialed 120. The program crew couldn't care less about the livestream and rushed to Xiangyi's side. The screen of the livestream turned black, but no one paid attention to it. In the comments section, the audience was burning with anxiety. Why did Sister E faint? I'm crying. Tutu, please don't let anything happen to her. Is she overworked? She cooks so many dishes on her own. At the scene, Xiang Feng's grandfather was a famous doctor of the generation. Although Xiang Feng didn't inherit his mantle, he knew the most basic first aid. After a set of measures, Xiangyi didn't react at all. How did this happen? Xiang Feng's forehead was full of sweat that was dripping down. He sounded like he was about to cry. Little Xiangyi, don't scare me. You're joking with me, right? Stop fooling around, let's stop fooling around, okay? Nan secretly wiped his eyes and asked Sichuanbai anxiously, how much longer will the ambulance take? Get out of the way. Move back a little. Li Jinyu yelled. Everyone retreated, leaving only Xiang Feng and Shui. Only then did everyone notice Shui's appearance at this moment. In everyone's impression, Shui had always been gentle, polite, and gentlemanly. No matter what he did, he would always be calm and collected, knowing when to advance or retreat. This was the first time everyone had seen Shui in such a disheveled state. He was half kneeling on the ground. His clean shirt was stained with dust, and his glasses were missing. A few strands of his hair were scattered in front of his forehead. His deep eyes were scarlet, and his whole person exuded a sinister aura. But even though he was so paranoid and full of hostility, when he took off his shirt and covered Xiangyi with it, his actions were incredibly gentle. 3 days later. Today was the 3rd day since Xiangyi fell into a coma. It was also the 3rd day since Two Under One Roof stopped airing. The Xiang family had already put down all their work and came to the hospital. Xiangyi's grandfather used all his connections to invite countless famous doctors, but all of their diagnoses were the same. Nothing serious. He just fell asleep. However, Xiangyin was still worried. In just a few days, his hair had turned even whiter. Less than an hour later, he leaned on his cane and came to the single ward with Madame Xiang to see the bunny. Xiangyi was still sleeping soundly on the hospital bed, but her face had lost a lot of weight. Anyone who saw her would feel sorry for her. Xiangyin sighed and patted Shui on the shoulder. Previously he disliked Shui, but now his attitude was much more mellow. Go get some rest. Let Sangchen and the others take your place. Shui said in a hoarse voice. It's okay. I'll stay with her for a while longer. After a pause he said softly, I'm afraid that she'll be scared if she doesn't see me when she wakes up. Xiangyin sighed again and didn't say anything in the end. Madame Xiang instructed Shui, and was not in the mood to say anything else. The two of them were about to return to the lounge, but they saw Xiangyi's eyelashes fluttering as she slowly opened her eyes. At the same time, in a cramped room in the slums of the Star City, the capital of the Alliance in a certain interstellar plane, Xiangyi stayed up for 2 nights and finally obtained some information about this world. Chapter 792. To put it simply, she was about to transmigrate, but this mission was different from the previous one. Her soul had been swapped. Her current body was called E. She had no family and lived alone in the slums. In this world, technology was extremely advanced, but with it came a series of problems. For example, most humans had lost their ability to reproduce. Humans who had the ability to reproduce were often treated well. However, Yi did not, so she had been living at the bottom all these years. She was vain, too lazy to study, and unwilling to work. She relied on the monthly allowance and credit coins from the Alliance to survive. She dreamed that one day, she would suddenly have the ability to give birth and marry the captain or commander of a starship. Xiangyi learned all this from the photon computer she left behind. Calm down, I must calm down. Xiangyi took a deep breath and turned on the photon computer. She raised her hand and drew a mind map in the air, using special symbols to express the information she already knew. First, Yi should be the one who was chosen to transmigrate, but she was replaced by the one who transmigrated. Second, after the mission was completed, she returned to her original world and cut off her connection with Yi. Third, once again swapped their souls. This time the system did not appear, so it might have nothing to do with the so-called transmigration system, but Yi used a special method. Fourth, if she wanted to go home, she had to survive first. Xiangyi looked around the room. The small room was filled with clothes, bags, and sundries. There were all kinds of cosmetics on the dressing table, and there were hundreds of lipsticks. But the food at home was only enough for 2 more meals. Xiangyi checked her photon computer account. Yi had already spent this month's allowance. Her credit limit was red. When it turned purple, there would probably be robots coming to take her as a laborer. In these 2 days, other than crazily looking for information and cramming knowledge, Xiangyi was also thinking about how to make money. The fastest way to make money was to go out and fight. Wealth came from danger. Or she could go to the unemployment center to see if there were any suitable jobs. She was not in a hurry to get rich, but if she went to work, she would probably die before she got any money. Therefore, what Xiangyi wanted now was only 2 words: safe. After some thought, she decided to go to the nearest DIY kitchen. In this world, cooking had already achieved artificial intelligence. Nowadays, only a few people would choose to cook for themselves. It had almost become a neglected hobby. The food made by the DIY kitchen could be eaten by oneself or sold to others. Some chefs who were short of money would choose this way to earn some extra money. Xiangyi controlled her spending and used the last of her credit limit to take a taxi to the DIY kitchen. She bought another hour of cooking time. There were many counters in the shop that were divided into small compartments. During cooking time, kitchen utensils and spices could be used at will. The ingredients needed to be purchased separately. In order to sell it, Xiangyi was going to make 2 of the most popular and cheapest dishes in Star City: tomato scrambled eggs and sandwiches. In addition, considering the possibility that she might not be able to sell them, she also prepared to steam a pot of buns. She noticed that there were still filming robots floating in the air that could be used for live streaming. It's really advanced. The corner of the 3-star chef's mouth twitched when he heard the girl's sigh. This kind of equipment that could only take pictures and not share taste and smell had long been eliminated. TSK, which barren planet did this country bumpkin come from? Chapter 793. Those who came from small towns were considered lowly. The young man, Andrew, pursed his lips and continued to cook. He was wearing a clean and tidy white chef's suit with an exquisite badge on his chest with 3 golden stars shining brightly. As a 3-star chef awarded by the Alliance, he earned quite a lot of money, but ever since he became obsessed with a certain virtual idol, his expenses had become too high. Paying for a single item, gifting gifts, and making thorough purchases were all standard operations. As long as he spent enough money, he could even hold hands and hug his idol. Of course, there were still some things he couldn't do. The reason Andrew was short of money recently was that he wanted to marry this virtual idol and had to pay a huge sum of money. However, Andrew had a decent job and he didn't want others to know that he was an otaku. Hence, he secretly came to the DIY kitchen to save money for his marriage. Beep! The sound of a live stream being started came from next door. Andrew smirked contemptuously. A country bumpkin is a country bumpkin. The entertainment industry in the Alliance was developed and live streams were popular throughout the galaxy. However, the competition was great and there was a lot of infighting. Not to mention that it was difficult for newcomers to make a name for themselves. Veteran hosts would be abandoned by their fans as soon as their live stream content became boring or of poor quality. Hence, hosts nowadays would pursue the use of the most high-tech equipment and live stream content to be as vivid and interesting as possible. Some would even write a script and follow it closely to the live stream. At present, the most popular live stream channels were virtual idols, games, battles, and so on. Food was a neglected channel. This DIY kitchen has such poor livestream equipment, and it's a cold channel. Why would anyone watch it? Andrew thought it was ridiculous. At most, only 10 viewers would watch this country bumpkin's livestream. On the other hand, Xiangyi entered the information on her optical computer and opened the livestream channel. She casually named it Eat Well and lowered her head to prepare the ingredients. The quality of the ingredients in this DIY kitchen was quite good. The tomatoes were bright red and the pulp was sweet. The eggs were plump and were about half the size of Xiangyi's palm. At this moment, people started streaming into the livestream channel. No way, are there live streams these days that don't share their sense of smell and taste? Wow, the host's hands are so beautiful. Is she a girl? Damn, she can beat eggs with one hand? 6666, that's amazing. On the hologram, the young girl's fingers were slender and nimble. Her single-handed movements were like moving clouds and flowing water. In this era where most people didn't know how to cook, it was indeed amazing. After that, Xiangyi added seasoning into the egg. She didn't use any tools like a balance or 2 spoonfuls. She just added the seasoning directly. Then she made a cross-cut on the tomato and added it to the hot water to boil it for a moment. After scooping it up, she easily peeled off the tomato skin. Amazing! Is the host a star chef? How can he add such a precise dosage? Oh my god! Was the streamer performing magic? This is too amazing. Could it be that she's a star chef? There were only a few people in the live stream, so they invited their friends to watch together. The new viewers couldn't help but share the link on social media. By the time Xiangyi started cooking, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room had already exceeded 100. Xiangyi suddenly remembered that Yan Kaikai had taught her to interact more with the audience when she was selling goods in the live stream room. So she raised her small face and said gently, "Good morning, I'll start cooking now." Chapter 794. The girl's voice was clean and clear, and she spoke at an unhurried pace, which somehow made people feel very comfortable. Some of the viewers who had just clicked in and were about to leave subconsciously paused their fingers. Since I have nothing to do, why don't I watch for a while longer? Unknowingly, these people became the retention rate, and it could be said that almost all the new viewers stayed behind. At this moment, the temperature of the oil was about right, and Xiangyi poured the egg mixture into the pot while explaining. The oil has to be heated up so that the egg mixture will expand quickly when it's hot, and the scrambled eggs won't stick to the pan. The 3-star chef next door, Andrew, widened his emerald-like eyes when he heard this. How can this country bumpkin know a technique that only 2-star chefs know? The chefs in the alliance were now divided into 1-star to 5-star chefs, with 5-star being the highest level and symbolizing the highest honor that the alliance had bestowed upon chefs. Could it be that this country bumpkin is a 2-star chef? So what if she's a 2-star chef? I'm a 3-star chef. Andrew maintained his sense of superiority as always and continued to work hard to save money for his wife. Suddenly, a rich aroma wafted to the tip of his nose. The sweet and sour taste of the tomatoes and the delicate fragrance of the eggs blended together to create a harmonious and wonderful aroma. This seasoning. Andrew couldn't help but sniff a few more times. In the live stream, the viewers couldn't smell anything due to the equipment issues. However, they could see the eggs and tomatoes being stir-fried in the pot up close, and the juices of the tomatoes splashed out, gradually forming a red broth. They could also hear the sizzling sound of the eggs hitting the hot oil, as well as the sound of the ingredients being tossed around in the pot. Oh my god! She actually knows how to toss the ladle. This is a technique that only 3-star chefs know. This is the first time I'm actually drooling without sharing my sense of smell and taste. Host, how much is this pot of scrambled eggs with tomatoes? I'll buy it. At this moment, a gift notification suddenly popped up in the live stream. Yun Zhongyue has sent Tutu a luxurious airship. For a moment, the live stream was in an uproar. The value of a luxurious airship was almost equivalent to hunting down a B-grade insect beast, which was indeed a lot for a new host. Some viewers recognized Yun Zhongyue and exclaimed in shock, "Isn't she a famous rich fan of the Alliance livestream?" Previously, he gave a combat blogger a few 100,000 star coins as a reward. Everyone clicked their tongues in wonder and lamented that this newbie streamer's luck was too good. A rainbow-colored bullet screen popped up in the comment section. It was Yun Zhongyue. "I'll take care of all the dishes you cooked today." Xiangyi was so immersed in cooking that she didn't have time to read the comments in the livestream room. There's a little trick to scrambled eggs with tomatoes. You can add salt at the end. That way, when you start eating, the tomatoes will release the fresh gravy completely, and the taste will be even better. Also, if you like something sweet, you can add a little sugar to neutralize the sour taste of the tomatoes. If you like sweet and sour food, you can add some ketchup. The girl turned off the fire and scooped out 3 plates of scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Every plate was brightly colored and appetizing. Xiangyi was about to check if there were any viewers watching the live stream when a big hairy head suddenly popped in from next door. Damn it, I really can't stand this temptation. Cough, miss, can I buy a plate of your tomato scrambled eggs? Chapter 795. Xiangyi froze for a moment before nodding. Sure. After all, her original intention was to sell the food she cooked. Then, how about 200 star coins per plate? Andrew gave a moderate price. The restaurant he was currently in had an elegant environment and top-notch ingredients. The price of a dish on the menu was about the same. However, the viewers in the live stream were anxious. Only 200? Who are you trying to scam? Host, don't agree. Sell it to Yun Zhongyue for at least 10 times the price. Please, host, look at the comments. Yun Zhongyue is still waiting for your reply. It's my first time watching a live stream, I'm so worried. Xiangyi, on the other hand, felt that 200 star coins was quite a lot. She had spent more than 30 star coins on the hover car, renting the cooking station, and buying the ingredients. If she sold it, she would make a net profit of more than 100 star coins. The two scanned their optical computers and reached a deal. When Xiangyi saw the extra balance in her account, the pressure in her heart lessened slightly. Andrew went back to his cubicle to get a spoon and said in a tone as if he was a senior guiding a junior. You're live streaming? Then you can see if anyone in the live stream wants to buy it. As long as the price is right, you can get the robot to pack it up and send it to them on the interstellar train. Xiangyi said sincerely, Thank you. Looking into the girl's clear and bright eyes, Andrew's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. He lowered his head to hide it and scooped up a spoonful of scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Well, there was water in the eggs, so they tasted very tender. Well, the tomatoes were peeled and cut into small pieces, so the pulp was almost all melted and the texture was very smooth. Well, that's it. What the hell? How can there be such delicious scrambled eggs with tomatoes in this world? Andrew was shocked. He went from tasting it in small bites at the beginning to gobble it down in large bites. At first, he could still analyze how Xiangyi had made this dish, but it didn't take long for his rationality to be completely taken over by the delicious taste. The delicious taste seemed to have directly stimulated the deepest part of his soul. Every chewing and swallowing was the most enjoyable thing in the world. Xiangyi also looked at the live stream and was surprised to find that there were already thousands of people watching it. Her page directly showed the amount of gifts she had received. Converted into numbers, it was actually a few thousand star coins. Xiangyi was a little surprised. She had also seen Yun Zhongyue's bullet screen. The tycoon's font was colorful and dazzling, and he was hanging in the middle of the live stream. Do you want to buy it? Then, 200 star coins for one set. Is it okay if you don't include shipping? Xiangyi asked gently. The main reason was that she wasn't sure how much the robot would cost. If it was too expensive, she wouldn't be able to afford it in her current situation. Yun Zhongyun: Yun Zhongyun 200? Who are you looking down on? How about 2,000? I'll pay for the shipping fee. Xiangyi thought for a moment. Do you want to have lunch? Shall I pair it with some other dishes? Yun Zhongyun: all right. After that, he gave Xiangyi a luxurious airship. There was no other reason. He just felt that Xiangyi's words were very pleasant to hear. She was neither servile nor overbearing, nor pretentious. In this era where people were indifferent to each other, she gave people a very mysterious impression. Gentle. Besides, this little bit of money was nothing to her anyway. Big Brother made so much money, so someone should spend it for him. Hehe. Xiangyi used the remaining cooking time to braise a pot of mixed grain rice, a dozen sandwiches, and 2 stir-fried dishes, 1 meat and 1 vegetable. Chapter 796. Xiangyi didn't know how many people were in Yun Zhongyue's family, so she just put in some mixed grain rice, stir-fried vegetables, and 6 sandwiches for the family of 4. Thanks to the advanced food storage box in this plane, All the food was still fresh when it was delivered to Yunzhongyue. Andrew didn't even bother to save up for his wife's money. He just stayed by Xiangyi's side. Every time she made a dish, he would be the first to buy it shamelessly. In the live stream besides Yunzhongyue, there were other viewers who offered to buy the food. Xiangyi sold the rest of the food at the same price. After the cooking time was over, a robot came to clean up. Xiangyi also turned off the live stream. Andrew noticed that the girl's live stream had a total of 20,000 viewers. Thinking back to his first live stream, the number of viewers was only in the single digits. Sometimes the gap between people was even bigger than the gap between humans and insectoids. He asked curiously, "The numbers are good. Aren't you going to continue live streaming? If you continue, you'll probably make 10,000 star coins today." 10,000 star coins wasn't much in the rich district, but in the slums, it was a high-paying job that was envied by many. "Xiangyi, I have more important things to do." She shoved 2 egg and ham salad sandwiches into Andrew's hands. "Here, these are for you. You seem to like them." "Huh, then I'll give you star coins." Xiangyi smiled. "No need. Consider this a thank you gift." Andrew was very naggy. He couldn't stop talking while watching her live stream. However, he taught Xiangyi a lot of knowledge and helped her sell the food. Xiangyi was quite grateful to him. The girl walked out of the DIY kitchen. Andrew scratched his head and strode after her. "Well, I'm Andrew. Can we add each other as friends on the photon computer?" Xiangyi didn't want to have too much contact with people in this plane. But when she met Andrew's sincere eyes, she thought about it and added him. It was just that he was using his newly registered account. Andrew was very happy to add her as a friend. "You can ask me any questions." Xiangyi thanked him and left in the hover car. On the way back, the optical computer kept flashing non-stop. She opened it, and it was actually full of messages from Andrew. He was undoubtedly a chatterbox. Xiangyi didn't reply. Instead, she checked her balance. The star coins sold to Andrew were directly transferred to his account. However, the star coins sold to the viewers in the live streaming room had to be withdrawn by the platform. Nowadays, the alliance had formed a monopoly in the live streaming industry. Other than a few big streamers who had the right to speak and had a higher share of the profits, the smaller streamers basically had a 30-70 ratio. A new streamer like Xiangyi was even more miserable. That was to say, out of 10,000 star coins, she could only get 2,000. Moreover, she had to pay several kinds of taxes to the alliance. In the end, her share of gifts from the live broadcast room would only be a few thousand star coins. Xiangyi sighed and set aside a portion of the star coins for daily expenses, and used the rest to pay off Yi's debt. If she didn't return the money, the interest would increase. She didn't want to be arrested before she could think of a way to go home. The girl leaned her forehead against the window and stared blankly at the city filled with lights and shadows. Brother, uncle, grandparents, and Shui, were they okay now? What Xiangyi didn't know was that her live stream today had gone viral on the Star Domain Network. Chapter 797. At first it was a video review by a viewer that went viral. "I watched a new streamer's live stream today. This is the dinner set I bought from her." The reviewer was a chubby man who was obviously a food enthusiast. His fans all called him Fat Bro. Fat Bro's live stream equipment was the most advanced at the moment. After activating vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and other senses, the audience felt as if they were there. They could feel the temperature of the food, and they could also pick it up and taste it. Although it was just virtual data, it allowed viewers to taste different delicacies for free. Hence, it was highly sought after by civilians and dieters. Fat Bro first introduced the content. Scrambled eggs with tomatoes, fried pork with apricot abalone and mushrooms, vinegar baby cabbage, a sandwich, a 5-grain rice, and a complimentary seaweed egg soup. The total cost is $999. A large number of people immediately complained in the real-time bullet screen. $999 for a meal? Why doesn't that streamer go rob people with a gunny sack? Fat Bro, you've been scammed. What kind of black-hearted streamer is she? She charged $999 for this? The last time I ate at a restaurant with a 3-star chef, it was probably the same price. There's also the bonus of the environment and service. I personally feel that it's not worth it to order takeout at such an expensive price. Fat Bro opened the food storage box to see that the food inside was still steaming hot, as if it had just been scooped out of a pot. There was a moment of silence. All the viewers who had activated the shared five senses were captivated by this wonderful aroma. They couldn't wait to take a bite, and the taste instantly invaded everyone's taste buds. The scrambled eggs with tomatoes were sweet and sour. The fried pork with apricot abalone and mushrooms were salty and fragrant. The vinegar baby cabbage was sour and spicy. The sandwiches were rich in texture, and the egg soup was refreshing. Fat Bro froze on the spot and stared at the table of dishes in disbelief. They clearly looked like ordinary home-cooked dishes, but the taste. How could they be so delicious? He swore that he had never eaten such delicious food. The fans' comments immediately changed. F***CK. This money is so well spent. I've already prepared the star dollars. When is the streamer going to rob me with a gunny sack? Fat Bro, eat slower. We won't have anything to eat after you finish eating. This meal was finished by Brother Fatty like a whirlwind. He said to the camera in a serious manner. I've also eaten the dishes of several five-star chefs in the Alliance. To be honest, they are very exquisite, very powerful and very delicious. But the dishes made by this streamer really have a different feeling. If I must describe it, it would probably be warm, beautiful, blissful and complete. The corners of his eyes were slightly moist. After being reminded by his fans, he wiped his eyes with a tissue. It's so delicious I'm crying. I'm not lying to you. This review video went viral first. Everyone traced it back to Xiangyi's livestream and watched the 1-hour replay. At first, everyone thought that no matter how delicious the food was, it would be tiring to watch him cook for an hour. And then what? Why did he finish it again? No, one more time. How did the video loop function work? The click-through rate of the replay increased steadily, reaching a terrifying number. And because of this, Xiangyi became famous. Due to the phenomenal popularity of Xiangyi, the higher-ups of Alliance Broadcasting began to consider whether or not to sign her. On the other side, Nancheng Private Hospital. Chapter 798. It was dusk again. It was very similar to the twilight 2 days ago. The young girl on the hospital bed was slender and weak. Her face was pale and her curly eyelashes were fluttering, casting a faint shadow on her face. Good that you're awake, good that you're awake. Xiang Yin burst into tears as he and Madame Xiang each grabbed one of Xiangyi's hands. The young girl was very obedient and she stole a glance at the tall figures beside the hospital bed with fear in the depths of her eyes. She was She had already woken up a few hours ago, and the first person she saw when she opened her eyes was Shui. He was the man she wanted to get back when she was forced to leave Xiangyi's body. Their gazes met. How should I describe the look in his eyes? His gaze was ruthless, sharp, and malicious. Yi felt a lingering fear at the thought of it. She knew that he must have seen through her. The shock and the weakness from the soul swap made her pass out again. She only woke up a few minutes ago. When she woke up, she was accompanied by the annoying old man and woman, as well as a few fools who had been fooled by her in the past year. However, I'm finally back. The corners of Yi's lips curled up slightly. Of course, she knew that the thief in the slums had a better life than the rich and beautiful girl. Why should I be born in the slums? On the other hand, Xiangyi enjoyed a luxurious environment and the love of her family. She didn't have to worry about making a living and lived a life like the little princess. Xiangyi had already enjoyed a lot. Now it was her turn. Having learned her lesson from the previous soul swap, Yi chose to put on a pretense this time. She pretended to be pretentious and said, Grandma, I've made you guys worry. I'm fine now. Hearing her words, Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang frowned in unison. She clearly had the same face, the same voice, and the same person, but why did she give them an unfamiliar feeling? However, their doubts were soon replaced by worry. Xiang Yin said in an amiable tone as if he was coaxing a child, Little bunny, Grandpa will cook for you. I'll make your favorite seafood porridge, okay? Thank you, Grandpa. You're the best. Xiang Yin usually liked to hear his granddaughter call him Grandpa sweetly, but for some reason, he didn't feel any emotions at this moment. He didn't think too much about it and got up to cook for Xiangyi. Madame Xiang followed him, but when she reached the door, she turned back and gave Xiangyi a deep look. After Madame Xiang left, Xiangli found an excuse to send Xiangfeng away. It wasn't that she didn't trust little uncle, but she was worried that his IQ wouldn't allow him to understand such a complicated matter. Yi's pulse quickened. She clutched the blanket uneasily and forced a smile. Big brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother. Third brother, Xiangqi said angrily. Shut up. Why didn't you think before you called us that? Do you even deserve to call us brothers? Everyone in the Xiang clan, including Shi Sui, already knew that the Xiangyi in front of them wasn't the real Xiangyi. Yi said with an aggrieved expression. Brother, if you don't like it, I won't call you that. Xiangli touched his chin and said thoughtfully, Tisk, you've evolved. This time you've actually learned to pretend to be obedient and pitiful. Yi was speechless. Why did he use the word evolved? Only low-level creatures like insects need to evolve. It's as if he's deliberately humiliating me. Xiangli guessed what she was thinking and chuckled, but his smile was cold and unfeeling. Xiangyu was much more straightforward. The hot-tempered sports player immediately lashed out. Don't call me brother, it's disgusting. Chapter 799. Xiangqi chimed in. That's right. Disgusting. Although Xiangli didn't say anything harsh, the man who had always been as gentle as the spring breeze had a look of disgust in his eyes. Sangchen spoke indifferently, but he went straight to the point. Where did you take my sister? The man's features were clear, like a pine tree on a distant snowy mountain, covered in snow. Yi pretended to be innocent. I'm your sister. Brother, you're so cruel. How could you not recognize me? Sangchen took a deep breath, the veins on his forehead bulging. Don't use my sister's face to act. Yi had taken over Xiangyi's body and naturally knew that he was the Xiang family's demon king. She couldn't help but tremble, but she resisted Sangchen's powerful aura. I'm really your sister. Believe me. She couldn't admit it. Even if she exposed herself, she couldn't admit it. She knew the personalities of her brothers in the Xiang family. They were all arrogant, and although they said harsh words, they wouldn't cause any real harm to her. As long as she could drag things out long enough, they wouldn't be able to do anything to her. She could still live a life like she had in the past year, spending money whenever she wanted and picking up men whenever she wanted. However, she seemed to have overlooked the existence of one person. Shi Sui stood by the window. His figure was tall and slender, and his handsome face was uniquely favored by the Creator. Every inch of his face was impeccable. The white shirt he was wearing was already a little wrinkled, and the top few buttons were all undone, revealing a piece of his cold white skin. Half of his collarbone was faintly discernible, and his Adam's apple was clear, rising and falling as he spoke. Sorry, can I speak to her alone for a while? What are you doing? Shi Sui, wake up. This woman isn't my sister. Don't tell me you still have some improper thoughts about her? Xiangqi was furious. Xiangyu stared straight at Shi Sui, as if he would beat Shi Sui up if she dared to admit it. Shi Sui said calmly, it shouldn't take too long. Xiang Li and Sangchen looked at each other. The two of them communicated with their eyes and Sangchen said, all of you follow me. Xiangqi was unconvinced. But what if? Tutu believes in him. Xiang Li's words successfully shut Xiangqi up. That's right, this was his sister's boyfriend, someone she trusted. The four brothers went out, leaving only Shi Sui and Yi in the ward. Shi Sui was not in a hurry to interrogate him. Instead, he picked up the kettle, stood in front of the bedside table, and slowly poured water into an empty cup. Yi was perturbed as she listened to the sound of splashing water. She was inexplicably nervous. She quietly observed Shi Sui. The man's back was against the light, and his entire body was immersed in an ink-like shadow. The muscles on her forearms were smooth, and her hands were perfect like a work of art. Even the way she poured the water was noble, proud, and seductive. The cup was full. Yi said in a coquettish voice, thank you, little brother. She used the excuse of getting the water as an excuse to hook Shi Sui's sleeve through her thin shirt. The next second, caught off guard, her neck was strangled by a pair of large hands. Yi's eyes were filled with horror. The man's casual voice sounded in her ears. The water is for her. Even if Xiang Yi wouldn't be back for a while. Shi Sui gradually increased his strength. His expression was languid and lazy. His peach blossom eyes were affectionate when they looked up, but they were incomparably cold when they looked down. He smiled slightly, paranoid and sick. If you don't want to die, you'd better tell me everything you know, okay? Chapter 800. Breathing became more and more difficult. The pain became more and more clear. Yi tried to pry off Shui's hand, but found that the difference in strength was too great. She couldn't move him at all. She never thought that she would fall into such a desperate situation on the first day after her soul was swapped. In a flash, Yi thought it through. Although she wasn't smart, she grew up in the slums, so she was very observant. No, this man couldn't really kill her. Those idiots from the Xiang family wouldn't just sit by and watch. Her idea was simple and straightforward, and it did work. Sure enough, the second before she suffocated, Shui let go of her. She made the right bet. He felt like she had just been reborn. She gasped for breath, mixed with violent coughs. When she finally calmed down, she looked at Shui with tears in her eyes, trying to arouse his sympathy. However, the man still looked noble and languid. He slowly buttoned up his shirt and spoke in a gentle tone, as if he was chatting about daily life. You guessed right. This body is hers. I won't hurt it at all. Yi's little secret joy disappeared in the blink of an eye. Her heart skipped a beat. She suddenly panicked. I will lock you in a sealed space. There won't be any other living creatures except you. There won't be any communication. There won't be any light, no sound, and you won't be able to feel the passage of time. His low and hoarse voice was very seductive, but he said the most paranoid and morbid words. Yi's pupils dilated. She held her breath. The most frightening thing was not death. It was living a life worse than death. She could imagine that if she was locked in there, she would go crazy. I don't want to. Yi couldn't hold it in. She tried to get out of bed and find those idiots from the Xiang family. At least they wouldn't do this to her. Shui easily pushed her back onto the bed. He used so much strength that her shoulders almost shattered. He lifted the girl's delicate chin and gently rubbed it with his fingers. Yi couldn't help but tremble. It shouldn't be difficult to convince Sangchen and the others. He was so gentle, but he was so cruel. The oppressive atmosphere, the quiet environment, and the fear of the unknown overwhelmed Yi. She broke down and screamed, I'll talk. An hour later, Yi was sobbing. The private room was surrounded by bodyguards, and no one paid any attention to her. What she did not know was that the moment Sangchen left the ward, Shui had already dialed Sangchen's number. Sangchen and his brothers had overheard the entire conversation between her and Shui. In the VIP room, Xiangli went back and forth playing a few key points of the recording. The first time I swapped souls was because I received a fast transmigration mission. In my world, there were fast transmigrators who shared their experiences. I don't want to transmigrate so quickly. I've heard that I'll have to endure hardships, suffer all kinds of torture, experience scheming against each other, be separated by life and death, and battle and war. I consulted that fast transmigrator and he told me a solution. I just need to match a soul with a high similarity and let someone else take my place. The second time I swapped souls was because I downloaded a virus from the Transmigrator forum, in the alternate world, and cracked the program to match souls. This way, I can still swap souls without a fast transmigration mission, but the program has already self-destructed. She can't come back. At least, it's impossible with the technology of this world, unless a miracle happens. Chapter 801. Xiang Yu clenched his fists tightly. Xiang Qi was so angry that he kicked over the trash can. F***ck, she doesn't want to suffer, so she's making my sister suffer. I'm giving her face. I'll beat her to death. Xiang Li glanced at him. Calm down, the body belongs to Tutu. Xiang Qi immediately quieted down. Xiang Li concluded, according to the known information, the soul swap is one way at present. In other words, we can't do it here. We can only wait for Tutu to find a way to do it on the other side. Of course, we can't not believe Yi's words completely. Next, we'll continue to sound her out and see if there are any other clues. Also, I'll find a hypnotist to see if there are any other answers after hypnosis. We'll do as you say. Sangchen rubbed his forehead and looked at Shui. What do you think? Shui's aura was gone and he looked a little dejected. His slender and fair fingers rested between his eyebrows and his voice was extremely hoarse. Bring Xiao Naofu here. Interstellar world. Xiangyi carefully made a series of plans for herself, including short-term, medium-term and long-term goals. She even prepared for the worst. After barely sleeping for 3 hours, Xiangyi sat up with a blanket draped over her body and continued to write programs on the optical computer. For some reason, Yi's browsing history was all gone. The optical computer was clean as if it had never been used. Fortunately, Xiangyi had traveled through a similar dimension before and knew a little about programming. She speculated that the data in Yi's optical computer was probably formatted by a self-destruct program. She tried to write a program to restore the data. Perhaps there was a way to go home. A few hours later, the initial version of the recovery program was born. Xiangyi tried to run it. Unfortunately, there was probably a problem with the program and the optical computer directly froze. Fortunately, after rebooting, a small part of the data was restored. After opening it, it was all garbled. Xiangyi had a headache. She searched and came up with a conclusion. To put it simply, everyone in the alliance was using smartphones, but she was still using a mobile phone. After checking the price of the latest version of the optical computer, Xiangyi sighed. It seemed that he still had to think of a way to earn money. Star City, in a certain luxurious villa. The nouveau riche fan who appeared in Xiangyi's livestream, Yun Zhonga, whose real name was Fu Yunhua, looked at her brother with hidden bitterness. Galaxy Fleet Commander, the youngest champion of the Mecha Galaxy tournament. He was the strongest person in the alliance. Fu Zichuan. The man wore glasses and was casually flipping through a paper newspaper. Fu Yunhua complained softly. So old-fashioned. Who still uses paper things these days? Fu Zichuan was unmoved. Fu Yunhua said aggrievedly, "You ate all the food I bought. That's enough for 4 people. You didn't even leave a bite for me." The story started with the express delivery she received at noon. It was a meal personally cooked by a streamer called Tutu. As someone who needed a sense of ceremony when eating, she went upstairs to change into a beautiful dress and even permed her hair. She was prepared to take photos from many angles without any blind spots. In the end, when she went downstairs, the food was already gone. Her brother had eaten it. It was all eaten. Fu Zichuan was expressionless. "I've already apologized to you. I won't forgive you. Unless you can invite that Tutu to be our chef." Before she finished speaking, Fu Zichuan's communicator rang. He glanced at it and frowned. "Are you talking about her? She was just wanted." Chapter 802. Xiangyi was contemplating whether to continue with her DIY kitchen or purchase a set of kitchen utensils for her livestream when the doorbell rang. She opened the door. In the dark and narrow corridor, 2 tall robots were standing there, coldly showing her the information of the Guardian of Order, as well as a wanted poster. "Miss, you are under arrest." Half an hour later, at the Guardian of Order, Xiangyi looked at the small window of the detention room, feeling very complicated. The notification from the robots just now echoed in her mind. Name: age 20. Crime theft. That's right, he was a thief. And a repeat offender. This wasn't the first time she had entered the Guardian of Order. However, the amount of money she was involved in was relatively small. The most she had been involved in was 2 months. This time she was involved in the large-scale optical computer theft case 0609. The estimated sentence was 10 years. The girl closed her eyes and told herself to stay calm. Even if she was really locked up for 10 years, she had to live well. Because there were still people waiting for her at home. Suddenly, a few figures walked over from outside the alloy fence. They were humans. Xiangyi blinked and looked at them in confusion. Is it her? It should be, she looks quite similar. What are you talking about? Who is she? You don't even know? That live stream that suddenly became popular on the interplanetary network. Her cooking video has more than 1 billion views. Xiangyi understood. These people were treating her like a monkey in the zoo? They first discussed Xiangyi's popularity on the interplanetary network, then looked at her crime and couldn't help but sigh. It's a pity, she's just an accessory. She's quite pretty and she's so popular. It's a pity to be locked up for 10 years. I wonder if she signed a contract with the Alliance. Maybe someone is willing to pay a sky-high deposit and bail her out. But how is that possible? Sigh. Xiangyi. Gossip was indeed human nature, even in the interplanetary era. Suddenly their communicators rang. After reading the content, they looked at each other in dismay. Oh, little girl, there really is someone who bailed you out. Soon, the door of the detention room opened. Xiangyi followed the gossip team outside to handle the procedures. When they were signing the papers, it was as if they were performing a crosstalk. Your luck is too good. The one who bailed you out is the boss of the 0609 large-scale optical computer theft case. He happens to be your fan and he even bought your food. Speaking of which, you have to thank him for your popularity. He was the one who posted the review video first. Oh right, his name is Fat Bro. You have to thank him properly later. Xiangyi listened obediently and did not say anything. After the procedures were completed, the gossip team returned Xiangyi's optical computer and personal belongings. Someone even gave her 2 candies. He didn't know why, but although this little girl was a habitual thief in the slums, he just couldn't hate her. Thank you. Xiangyi thanked him and stepped out of the order guardian. Behind him, the gossip team received another piece of news. What? The Alliance also bailed her out? There's actually a big shot who bailed her out. Fu family. Good fellow, let's go for a drink after work today and have a good chat. Chapter 803. It was already late at night. This city seemed to have never needed to worry about energy. Bright lights were everywhere, as if they had formed a dense net of light. There was wind blowing, but it didn't feel cold. The temperature of the city was artificially adjusted to a constant temperature. When Xiangyi went out, a fat man came up to her. Xiangyi took 2 seconds to react before she realized that he was calling her. She remained cautious and nodded. Or should I call you Tutu? The fat man laughed. I didn't expect us to have such fate. The world is really small. Xiangyi thanked him politely. Thank you for bailing me out. The fat man raised his eyebrows, feeling that the money wasn't wasted. This little girl wasn't incurable. When she spoke, she was gentle and polite. When she listened, she quietly looked into the other person's eyes. Her good points overshadowed her bad points. So much so that the fat man felt that her stealing was pardonable. After all, it wasn't easy for a girl in the slums to survive. He gestured towards Xiangyi. Let's go to my hover car first. Xiangyi didn't move. The fat man laughed. Still on guard against me? Fine, it's good for a girl to be cautious. Then I'll make it short. I watched your live broadcast and tasted your food. It's not bad. I won't pursue the matter of you stealing and bailing me out. How about it? Can you trust me now? Condition. A clear and calm voice. There was a hint of admiration in the fat brother's eyes. It's very simple. You can work for me as my chef, or you can use your culinary skills to promote my restaurant. In short, you just have to create something of equal value. Xiangyi understood. Okay, I understand. Then starting tomorrow morning, send me food. The fat man casually threw her a transparent chip. If you want to buy ingredients, just use it to pay. Don't save. The optical computer flashed. He didn't avoid Xiangyi and directly connected to the video call. After chatting with the person on the other side for a while, his face turned sour. His optical computer store was the largest in Star City, but recently, a competitor had appeared. That competitor had gone on a crazy expansion model, snatching away a lot of his business. Tomorrow, a competitor was going to open a new store next to his store. Moreover, they had released news that a certain popular model of optical computer would be given an unprecedented discount. As soon as the news was released, there were already people lining up overnight. How can I attract people over? Do I have to fight a price war too? The more Fat Bro thought about it, the more worried he became. Once the price war started, it would be a fight to the death. Both sides would suffer. The more he sold, the more he would lose. If it's to attract people, perhaps I can give it a try. The girl's clear and steady voice sounded in his ears. Brother Fatty was stunned. What can you do? Live stream cooking? His eyes lit up. With her influence on the interplanetary network, it might actually work. Xiangyi replied with 2 words. It smells good. Fat Bro, oh? Can you be more specific? Xiangyi thought for a moment. For example, your impression of scrambled eggs with tomatoes is that it's sweet and sour. When the sweet and sour smell expands, you'll associate it with food. The most direct feeling is, I know. With rice. Brother Fatty rushed to answer. That's pretty much it. If you use the aroma of food to attract people, it might have the effect of attracting them. Chapter 804. Xiangyi briefly explained her thoughts. Fat Bro slapped his thigh and got someone to publicize it on the spot. Hence, on the Star Sector network, anyone who had followed Fat Bro's shop or bought goods received a push message. Fat Bro Technology V. There will be a small event tomorrow. Anyone who enters the shop will get a free snack PS. It's comparable to the delicacies made by a 3-star chef. Regarding this, the netizens' reaction was, just this? Come on, Feynman's shop is offering a full discount. A genuine discount can save you star coins. Isn't it much better than your snacks? Besides, if it's comparable to a 3-star chef, it probably means that this chef hasn't even obtained a 3-star honor badge. How much would the snacks made by such a chef be worth? Only a fool would choose Fat Bro's shop. However, there were also people who found a way to take advantage of it. They could first get free snacks from Fat Bro's shop, then go to Feynman's shop to buy an optical computer. They could enjoy the snacks and the discount. Wouldn't that be perfect? Once this point of view was posted, it received many likes from the netizens. Look, this is too quick-witted. We'll do this tomorrow. The next morning, as the boss of the new shop, Feynman specially invited celebrities and dignitaries to cut the ribbon. In order to sell the snacks that Fat Bro mentioned, he specially invited a 4-star chef to make desserts on the spot and give them away for free. Although the cost of hiring this 4-star chef exceeded his budget, as long as he could attract more customers, it was only a matter of time before he earned back the money. Feynman instructed the staff to adjust the position of the flower baskets at the entrance and glanced at Fat Bro's shop next door. He saw a hover car stop at the entrance. A transport robot went up and down, moving the things down from the car. Feynman almost laughed out loud. Oh my god, Fat Bro is too old-fashioned. Surprisingly, they were using charcoal and a huge iron pot. The iron pot was so heavy that the robot's mechanical arm was bent. However, it was tightly covered and no one knew what was inside. This kind of primitive kitchen utensil was only used on the most barren planets and the most backward civilizations. His staff couldn't help but laugh out loud. Isn't this the kind of iron pot that's placed in museums? Is Brother Fatty at his wit's end? To actually use such outdated kitchen utensils. Which chef would use this kind of charcoal and iron pot? How many generations have passed since the invention of thermal energy? Can you really cook with this kind of charcoal? Feynman said hypocritically, all right, go and clean up. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is about to begin. A few minutes later, the MC said, it's time, Mr. Feynman. Just follow the established procedure, Feynman reminded. Turn on the live stream. Understood. The MC turned his head, and the moment the live broadcast started, his face was full of smiles. Today is the opening of Mr. Feynman's 66th branch. Thank you, dear guests and friends, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come to our site. Gulp. The loud swallowing sound spread to the ears of every spectator in the live broadcast room in an instant. Feynman's expression changed slightly. What kind of crappy MC was this? He was too unprofessional. Ugh, damn it, what was this smell? It was as if a spell had been cast on the crowd as they all turned to look in the same direction. Even the livestream camera ball automatically changed its lens and shot from a different angle. What came into view was the side profile of a peerlessly beautiful face. Chapter 805. The charcoal fire had been lit at some point, and since it was smokeless charcoal, it wasn't choking at all. The girl's slender and fair fingers unhurriedly lifted the lid of the large iron pot. The iron pot conducted heat quickly and had a large surface area. She quickly heated up the ingredients inside, and by this time it was already bubbling. That alluring aroma was coming from the pot. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the girl fished out a piece of beef from the pot and placed it on the shore. She then sliced the beef into thin slices and placed them on a small plate. She then sprinkled chopped green onions on top and decorated it slightly. The beef had been braised just right, and its color was a beautiful brownish yellow. The grease had a layer of luster, and under the morning sun, it was steaming hot, drawing out everyone's gluttony. Gulp! The sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard one after another. The viewers in the livestream were going crazy. Feynman naturally used the best livestream camera ball for the livestream. Not only could it share the viewers' 5 senses, But the data was also the most realistic in the market. There were already viewers who couldn't wait to pick up a piece of braised beef and stuff it into their mouths. The rich fragrance of the sauce spread on the tip of their tongues, and the texture was chewy. The freshly scooped beef was still wrapped in some gravy, and as they chewed, the taste was even more wonderful. Oh my God, this is too delicious. I strongly condemn Fat Brother for his false promotion. How is this a 3-star chef? He's a 5-star chef. Dear friends, I suggest you go straight to that iron pot to get the food. There's still a lot of food. It's just a little hot. Remember to blow on it. Ha, did you just find out? I've already eaten it a long time ago. A mouthful of braised food and a sip of happy water. The viewers in the live stream had at least tasted the virtual data. Only then did the people at the scene truly feel the torture. This feeling of seeing but not being able to eat was really too torturous. The passerby who was about to enter Feynman's shop hesitated for a moment before stepping forward and asking, "Excuse me, do we get a free snack as long as we enter the shop?" Xiangyi nodded and asked, "Yes, what do you want to eat?" "There's beef, duck neck, duck wings, lotus root, dried tofu, mushrooms." The girl listed a series of dishes, and the passerby almost drooled. "Beef then." He made a difficult choice. Xiangyi handed the small plate to him. "Try it and see if it's to your liking. If you like spicy food, you can pour some chili oil on it." There were several large wooden bowls on the table. In addition to chili oil, there were also ginger vinegar, soy sauce, sesame oil, sesame paste, peanut butter, and other condiments. The passerby wanted to give it a try. He scooped up a spoonful of chili oil and poured it over a piece of beef. That chili oil was bright red and fragrant. Together with the beef slices, it looked a lot better. And it was even better when it was in his mouth. The sensations of numbness, spiciness, and fragrance deeply stimulated his taste buds, and then transmitted to his central nervous system. His mind was blank, and there was only one feeling. So delicious. He only needed one mouthful to fall into the enemy's hands. The passerby couldn't wait any longer. "That? If I buy an optical computer, can I have a portion of each ingredient?" "Platter? Sure." Xiangyi agreed, not because she was generous. In fact, the ingredients themselves did not cost much. Besides, she and Fat Bro had already considered this situation yesterday. The passerby was overjoyed, as if he had gotten a huge bargain. Without even looking at Feynman's new shop, he shouted, "Give me a platter." "Ahem. Give me an X721 optical computer." Chapter 806. Feynman was speechless. "Hey, wake up. Our shop is offering discounts. An optical computer can save at least a few $100. How much can a snack be worth?" However, with the first person taking the lead, countless people flocked to the stall. "I want a serving of duck wings." "Miss, I want lotus roots." "Give me an optical computer." "No, a platter." Xiangyi's snack stall was soon surrounded. Fortunately, she had already considered the problem of the flow of customers, and calmly let a few housework robots take over, while she quietly retreated to the side to continue braising. Fat Bro stood at the door, smiling so widely that his eyes narrowed into slits. In just a few minutes, his shop had already sold more than a dozen optical computers. This was even when Feynman's new shop was about to open, and there was a super low discount. On the other side, Feynman's face was even darker than the bottom of the pot of braising. He forced himself to remain calm and carried out the ribbon-cutting ceremony. However, the viewers in the live stream were no longer thinking about how low the discount would be in his shop, but, "Miss, please join my live stream. Isn't she the tutu who has been trending all over the internet in the past 2 days? Why can't I find her live stream? Alliance live stream is getting beaten up. Why hasn't such an outstanding streamer signed a contract?" In fact, the higher-ups of the Alliance livestream were also worried to death. They had sent private messages to Tutu's livestream account, but 2 days had passed and she still hadn't replied. Her account status also showed that she hadn't logged in. It wasn't that they didn't want to sign a contract, but rather, Tutu didn't care about them at all. Seeing that she had attracted a lot of attention from netizens after catching a glimpse of her in Feynman's livestream today, the higher-ups held a meeting and made a decision. They immediately asked the staff to rush to the scene and sign an offline contract with Tutu. As long as her request wasn't too much, they would consider giving her a B grade or A grade contract. At the same time, after the ribbon-cutting ceremony for Feynman's shop, he also announced the discounts on several popular models of optical computers. Most of them were 40% or 30% off, and the cheapest model was actually 30% off. It was a sky-high price. All of a sudden, the sales of Feynman's shop increased greatly. However, the expected crushing situation did not happen. On the contrary, the traffic at Fat Bro's shop was much higher than his. Although a portion of the people went in for the free snacks, 2/3 of them actually chose to buy an optical computer for the sake of the platter. In the past, it had always been a small gift for buying an optical computer. Why did it become a small gift for buying an optical computer? Was this the power of food? No, this was not marketing at all. Feynman was unwilling to give up. She asked her assistant to sneak into Brother Fatty's shop and wander around. She brought back a portion of Xiangyi's braised food. Beef was the most popular dish. The first pot had already been distributed, and the assistant had asked for a braised egg for him. Any housework robot could make a braised egg. But this braised egg was different from the one made by the preset program. Its exterior was smooth, and when one bit into it, it was chewy and full of flavor. Whether it was the heat or the timing, it was just right. It could be said to be a perfectly braised egg. Especially the egg yolk, it was soft and salty. Even someone like Feynman, who didn't like to eat egg yolks, almost wolfed down this egg. He wasn't done yet. A strong impulse arose in Feynman's heart. Without thinking, she said, "Go buy an optical computer and get a platter." Chapter 807. The assistant took out a plate of steaming braised food from behind him and smiled awkwardly. "I've already bought it." Feynman was confused. He was about to take the plate when he saw the loyal assistant move away and say righteously, "Boss, this is mine. If you want to eat it, I'll buy another set for you." Feynman was confused. The relationship between the boss and subordinate broke on the spot. Xiangyi's braised food tactic had an unexpected effect. Originally, she only wanted to use the fragrance of the food to attract the attention of the passers-by and draw them to the shop. Unexpectedly, the focus of everyone's attention was no longer on whose optical computer had a lower discount and whose price was cheaper. Instead, it was Xiangyi's pot of braised food that was about to be sold out. Xiangyi had prepared a total of 3 pots of ingredients, but she still couldn't resist the enthusiasm of the customers. It had only been 2 hours, but the braised food was about to be sold out. What she prepared were all semi-finished products. They just needed to be heated. If they were to be braised, it wouldn't be as tasty. Fat Bro was already very satisfied with this result. After all, today's sales were higher than the total sales for the past month. All right, Missy, you've already proven your value. Happy cooperation. The bail money was too worth it. Xiangyi. The braised food is almost finished. We can start the barbecue now. Fat Bro. The young girl blinked, and her small face instantly became lively and cunning. "I've made 2 preparations." After saying that, she used the optical computer to give orders. A few cute robots immediately carried out a stone slab, moved away the big iron pot of braised food, and placed the stone slab on it. Xiangyi brushed a layer of oil on the stone slab, then picked up the thin slices of pork belly and placed them on the stone slab. Sizzle. The unique sound of barbecue was like a cat's paw scratching, seducing the hearts of everyone present. Xiangyi then placed the marinated lamb with pickled peppers, New Orleans chicken wings, secret butter, green peppers, eggplant, potato slices, and bread slices. When the passers-by heard the sound and smelled the smell, they were all about to cry. Feynman. He was going crazy. Why? Where did this woman come from? Was she a hidden royal chef? Brother Fatty was overjoyed. Bailing out E was definitely the best thing he had ever done in his life. The killing power of this barbecue was even greater than that of the braised food. The aroma drifted far and wide, attracting more and more people to stop and watch. Everyone had the mentality of strolling around and eating for free. However, when they walked out of the shop, each of them had an extra set of barbecue meals in their hands. "Oh right, I almost forgot, I also bought a new optical computer." At this time, a hover car stopped in the air. Several men and women in suits and leather shoes, looking like elites, locked onto Xiangyi's position. South City Private Ward. E was tired from crying. and her mind began to work quickly. She couldn't be controlled by others, she had to take the initiative to attack. After rummaging through the cabinets, she found Xiangyi's phone. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. A few minutes later, the Spicy Tutu fans saw that their sister E had shared a link to the live stream. Xiangyi V, did you miss me? Come and chat with the babes. __. The Spicy Tutu fans were so excited that they all rushed into the live stream. The girl on the screen had an exaggerated beauty lens, and at this time she looked shocked. When did she become so popular? Why did millions of people watch her live stream? Chapter 808. E fiddled with her cell phone and finally noticed that the number of fans on Xiangyi's Weibo account had increased by several times compared to before she left. It had now reached more than 20 million fans. She didn't expect Xiangyi to clean up the mess that she had created in the entertainment industry, and even become so popular now. There must be a lot of people who like her. At the thought of this, E suppressed the ecstasy in her heart, and pretentiously brushed her hair in front of the camera before greeting her fans in a coquettish voice. Hello everyone, I'm your favorite E. In the live stream, the Spicy Tutu fans suddenly felt a strong sense of dissonance. Question mark. Who are you? Did Sister E lose the game of truth or dare? You're not Xiangyi, are you? Where did this AI face-changing monster come from? Did you steal Sister Yi's account? E was a little dumbfounded. How did this happen? I only said one sentence, how can these people tell that I'm different from Xiangyi? Little did they know that Two Under One Roof, which Xiangyi was participating in, was a live-streamed variety show. The fans watched Xiangyi's every move every day, and their understanding of the little girl was no less than that of their friends in real life. Of course, there were also fans who were more tolerant and felt that Xiangyi might be joking with them. They even spammed comments such as, Sister E is so cute when she's coquettish. That made E feel smug again. She made up her mind and said shamelessly, I'm Xiangyi. I'll be sad if you say that. Anyway, it would be useless even if they caught her for scientific research. Her body was Xiangyi's body. Although the Spicy Tutu fans were suspicious, they were still worried about Xiangyi's health. Hence, they began to ask about her condition. E chatted with the Spicy Tutu fans casually. I'm fine now, yeah. Thank you for your concern. Wow, you even sent me gifts. Why are you all spamming Shui's name? I don't think he's a good person at all. He's so fierce and cold. What group favorite? You guys don't know how badly my brothers treat me. They actually locked me up. Sigh. He won't let me leave this ward. In the lounge, Sangchen and the others received the news as soon as E started streaming. Seeing her artificial appearance in the live broadcast room, Xiangyu frowned and felt very uncomfortable. This woman. In the past year, he hadn't been able to tell. Loneliness appeared in the eyes of the young esports god. In the end, it was because he cared too little for his sister. Xiangqi retched. I can't take it anymore. I can't stand this thing saying these things with a bunny's face. I'll go get my phone back. Xiangli said. Calm down. Xiangqi. You can tolerate it, but I can't. Old four, let's go and take care of it. Xiangyu silently rolled up his sleeves. Sit down. As soon as the cold and steady voice sounded, the lounge suddenly fell silent. Xiangqi and Xiangyu snuggled together timidly, thinking that they must hide behind each other when they get beaten up later. Xiangli explained, there's a saying that you won't die if you don't ask for it. If you don't experience a beating, you won't know what despair is. The three of us have already arranged everything. Xiangqi? Question mark. Xiangyu? Question mark. So, are we being looked down upon for our intelligence? Isn't that right? On the side, Shui, who had quit smoking for a long time, tapped his cigarette box lightly and took out several cigarettes. His voice was very hoarse and filled with hostility. What it owes Bunny, it must return 100 times over. Chapter 809. In the ward, E was still complaining and pretending to be miserable, hoping that she could live a better life through the support of public opinion. What she wanted was not to be locked up in this small ward for the rest of her life. Instead, she wanted to go shopping, flirt with handsome boys, and enjoy the attention and love of others. However, E did not get the effect she wanted. Not only did no one sympathize with her, but more people began to suspect her instead. I've cracked the case. This Sister E is a fake. Please call me a famous detective. Our sister E is such a gentle person. She wouldn't be so full of negative energy. I really suspect that this sister E is a fake. First of all, she doesn't even know that Shui is her boyfriend. Secondly, do you think it's possible that her brothers bullied her? Of course, I believe that they bullied her uncle. Seeing that the public opinion was leaning towards her, E suddenly panicked. In the past, these idiotic netizens would clearly believe what she said. Why did things become like this now? E lifted the blanket and was forced to prove that she had been abused. I'm not lying to you. I've been imprisoned. There are bodyguards outside. She pulled open the door of the ward abruptly and looked at the camera. Did you see that? They're restricting my freedom. In the next second, what she heard was not the bodyguard's cold reprimand, but the bodyguard's respectful voice. Miss, is there anything I can help you with? E turned her head and looked out of the door in disbelief. Only 2 bodyguards were left behind, and they were female bodyguards who were specially hired. In addition, there was a maid and a chauffeur standing guard outside the door. The maid asked, Miss, do you want to go to the hot spring? There are hot springs in the rehabilitation area of this hospital, and the gentlemen have already ordered the best ginseng soup for you. The chauffeur asked, Miss, do you want to go shopping? Although the shopping malls are about to close at this time, we can still go shopping if we go to our own mall. E stumbled and said, No, it wasn't like that just now. She looked at the screen to see that the comments were full of doubts. You can't lie like that. I'm speechless. Haha, what a joke. You call this imprisonment? Then I beg you to lock me up as well. You're a fake Xiangyi. Where did you come from? Go back to where you came from. Seeing you annoys me. What E enjoyed the most was being pursued by others. The hardest thing to accept was the criticism of others. She was not as mentally strong as Xiangyi. E hurriedly turned off the live stream. She felt uncomfortable all over when she saw those comments. Why were they all scolding her? She only wanted to pursue her own happiness. What was wrong with that? Take me to the hot spring, E said tiredly. However, the maid snorted coldly. Are you worthy, E? She was surprised by his 2 faces. Do you know who I am? I'm Xiangyi. Young miss of the Xiang family. A mere maid like you dares to speak to me like this. Do you believe that I will ask my brother to expel you and make you live a life worse than death? The maid mocked. She had no makeup on, but it was hard to hide her beauty. You? Ha, you're just a pheasant occupying a magpie's nest. Do you really think you're a phoenix? We're here to serve Miss Xiangyi, not a fake like you. Li Jianyu, the chauffeur next to her, secretly gave her a thumbs up. My sister Ruan is ruthless and wild. This round of scolding was so satisfying. Chapter 8:10. E's face turned pale. How could this be? How could this be? Why can even a maid sense that I'm not the real Xiangyi? The bodyguard also changed his attitude. Miss, please go back. The gentlemen have instructed that you are not to take a single step out of the room. Oh, E said angrily. Remember this, all of you. I won't let you off. She stormed into the ward and slammed the door shut. Her phone buzzed and vibrated nonstop. She opened it to see that it was full of messages she had received from various apps. Impostor. There will be retribution for stealing accounts. We like Sister E, not an AI face changer like you. There were tens of thousands of pieces of news that covered the sky and covered the earth. E threw her phone away, not daring to look at them again. She covered herself with the blanket, trembling all over. In a daze, E realized that perhaps what she would receive from this soul swap would not be a beautiful life, but hell. In the lounge. What? The live stream is fake? Li Jianyu and Ruanqing played the maid and the chauffeur? Xiangqi was dumbfounded. Next to him, Xiangyu was equally dumbfounded. Sangchen and Shui went to the balcony to smoke. Xiangli really couldn't stand the 2 of them muttering about snatching the phone, so he took the time to explain to them. Yes, that phone was deliberately left behind by Shui. There's a small program I wrote in it. Every app she sees is no longer the original one. It can only be used within the hospital, and is not connected to the internet at all. Xiangyu asked. In other words, the so-called number of viewers, comments, and gifs were all written by the program? Xiangli smiled like a spring breeze, but his words were vicious. It's not difficult to write a fake account, right? No way, right? Is there really someone who can't even do this? Xiang Qi was speechless. Xiang Yu was speechless. I'm still being despised. Xiang Li sighed again. Your IQ is so low. If little uncle were here. I don't dare to think about it. On the side, Xiao Naofu was still typing on the tablet with its little paws as it let out an aggrieved meow. It was too difficult. This group of devils actually made him write down all the details of his transmigration with that stupid woman. His claws were about to break, sob. Hearing this childish cry, Xiang Yu couldn't bear it and wanted to pick up Xiao Naofu to coax it, but was stopped by Xiang Li. The big picture is more important. The most important thing now is to get my sister back as soon as possible. Hearing this, Xiang Yu suppressed his natural instinct for furry animals and stroked Xiao Naofu's head. Good luck, little baby. Xiao Naofu blinked, and its meaty paws began to type faster. Stupid woman, hurry up and come back. This hoo-hoo misses you. Meow. Far away in the manor, Xiang Feng sneezed violently. Who's talking about me again? He hugged little Shiji tightly and said with a look of distress. Why do you all want me to stay at home? You don't despise me, do you? Little Shiji. Woof. Okay. Xiang Feng nodded. Definitely not. They're afraid that I'll be too sad and cry until I faint in front of little Xiangyi's bed. Do you think you can hide this from me? My IQ is online. Little Shiji. Okay. As long as you're happy. At the entrance of Fat Bro's shop in Star City. A sea of people was not enough to describe the grand occasion at this moment. Xiangyi sat in a cafe nearby, rubbed her sore wrist and said calmly, "Sign a contract?" Chapter 8:11. The staff of the Alliance's livestream were all wearing exquisite suits and looked like elites. "Missy, this is our contract. You can take a look first." The optical computer projected a contract and Xiangyi skimmed through it. The conditions of the contract were very harsh. She had to broadcast for 8 hours a day, and the content had to be about cooking or food-related content. The commission was only 30% instead of 20%. Xiangyi declined. "Sorry, I don't have any intention of signing a contract at the moment." That E obviously didn't know how to cook. If the two of them switched, E wouldn't be able to fulfill the contract and the fans would be disappointed. Xiangyi didn't want to cause trouble for anyone. This was the basic upbringing. The staff looked at each other and revealed an as expected expression. It seemed that this tutu was quite scheming. She knew how to reject the offer. In the past few years they had fooled many streamers into signing the contract, and could only become the workers of the Alliance's livestream. If they went back on their word and didn't want to livestream anymore, they would face huge compensation. They were the best at manipulating newbies. "Missy, don't be in a hurry to reject us. You can have a good chat with us. Are you not satisfied with any of the terms? We can talk about it again. Our Alliance's livestream isn't open to just anyone. If you miss this precious opportunity, you can only live in the slums for the rest of your life. I'm afraid it'll be too late for regrets." The staff were clearly divided into two groups. One was playing the good cop and the other was playing the bad cop. They had the idea of signing Xiangyi today. Xiangyi expressed her attitude again. "Thank you for your hospitality, but I have no intention of making a living from livestream." She was still a tough nut to crack? The staff were a little dissatisfied. They were used to dealing with stupid streamers and had a sense of superiority. "Miss E, with your current income, you can only live in the charity house in the slums for the rest of your life. I remember that it's only a dozen square meters, right? Don't you want to move to a bigger house, or even a villa in the rich district? Miss E, according to your previous livestream data, we have made a prediction for you. As long as you serve us well." In between the lines, other than persuasion, there was also a hidden suppression of Xiangyi. This method was a little dirty, but wasn't it fine as long as it worked? Before Xiangyi could reply, Brother Fatty had already pushed the door open excitedly. "Sorry to disturb you. Today's sales have exploded. Just the flow of water alone has already exceeded 100 million. The mouths of the staff of the Alliance's livestream twitched. I'm sorry. I interrupted your serious business." Fat Bro apologized, but in fact, he didn't feel sorry at all. He sat down next to Xiangyi and glanced at the contract. He smiled and said, Aya, you guys, why are you using a B-grade contract to trick a little kid? As far as I know, with E's data, not to mention an A-grade contract, even an S-grade contract is enough, right? The staff member knew that he had met someone who knew the ropes and felt a little embarrassed. Data is data. When we sign a contract, we naturally have to consider some indicators, the leader said arrogantly. Yes, you're right. Fat Bro clicked on his optical computer, and another S-grade contract appeared on the screen. He smiled and said, Empire Live couldn't contact you, so they sent the contract to me. Look, what do these letters say? Oh ho, it looks like Ace.